know I said yes. know I said yes. Yes.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Supergirl Gamer Pro broadcast. Day number 2 qualifiers now. We have passed day number 1. Now moving on to the day number 2 single elimination bracket once again. I'm Camcom, now magically joined by the beautiful Soph Chan. How are you doing today, Soph?
Well, thank you so much for that lovely introduction, lovely Camcom. I am so happy to be here, especially having watched you recently on Game Changes, to be doing women's tournaments together, inclusivity with you. Yeah, that's where I want to be.
Beautiful. I'm so excited for today. We have some even more exciting teams somehow than yesterday. I had so much fun casting yesterday as well. And again, you'll see me again tomorrow. I'm here all day, every day for these kinds of tournaments. Well, let's take a look at exactly what Supergirl Gamer is all about.
Supergirl Gamer, we love to have a tournament that has been bringing League of Legends and gaming for women and female identifying and non-binary people into competitive play. Everything here is supposed to support marginalized genders into gaming, and we are just so happy to be able to bring all of this to you in a somewhat consistent, frequent manner, and especially having people on your screen as well that also represent such a good cause.
Absolutely, and what you see on your screen right now is some quick highlight replays from the streamed games we had yesterday. If you do remember, we have 3 teams that qualify every day. And our number 1 team yesterday was TFT Gamer Hours. Number 2 team from our very long and very aggressive best of 3 finals that we had was, of course, Kins, and the team that won the 3rd place match, which also does qualify, was the team Van Seraphine. So these were some very, very competitive games of League that we had yesterday. 3 45-minute bangers. I can't remember the last time I've casted a 45-minute game, but I got 3 of them yesterday. I don't know if I want more or less of that tomorrow, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, to be fair, considering it's second day of qualifying today, it might be the case that we're getting more 45-minute bangers. It's definitely something that can happen when we are looking at best of ones, which is something that we're going to talk about the format in a bit. So it really just gets people looking for a gameplay that really requires so much intensity, decision making, and a lot of pressure. So with that, the Friday and Saturday today format for the qualifiers are 16-team single elimination brackets. The top 3 teams qualify, and it's all best of ones until the grand finals, where we get to a best of 3.
Super, super fun. And on the stream here, you will see both of the semifinals again. They are both best of 1. We're at the top side of the bracket right now, and then we will hit this bottom half after this first best of 1. And then winner of those play in a best of 3. Both of those teams do qualify for tomorrow. First place does get a bye in the bracket tomorrow. And the teams that lose that play in a 3rd place match. Winner of that match will also end up qualifying. And there's no more days to qualify. If you didn't win yesterday, you had today as the second opportunity. There's no third opportunity. You gotta win it here today. Let's take a look at the championship bracket tomorrow for the 6 teams that do end up qualifying for both of the qualifying days today. And like we've been saying, it is a 6-team single elimination bracket. Once again, best of 1 for round 1, but then it is best of 3 for both semifinals and finals. On broadcast, we will have both of those semifinals best of 3s and the finals best of 3 there as well. And we can take a look at the prizing. You will see 3rd and 4th place do also earn money. So if you win today or yesterday 1st place, you have already qualified into that 3rd or 4th place spot. You have already earned yourself $625. Definitely a lot nicer than you have to be, oh no, I have to win a best of 1 and then I get another chance at winning that extra money. 2nd place and 1st place get the little extra $1,250, $2,500, just a little bit more.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to it. And as you said, just knowing that these teams, as soon as they get that 1st place, they know they're going to be getting the bye and instantly into the prize pool. That's a super boost in confidence. You know that you're going to be fighting for even more. It's not as if you're going to fight for something and nothing. It's for more and more and more. And I feel like that brings even more excitement for the players and a lot more obstination too.
Absolutely right. And let's take a look at the teams that have been playing towards the bracket here today. Once again, we are streaming semifinals and finals. We have 1 semifinals matchup determined, and I am so excited that it's Serenity versus Astrocats. This is a rematch of LCS Game Changers rosters, and the only difference is 2 players out of the 10. So it is almost a direct rematch, and I think it's going to be so exciting that we get to watch this here in semifinals as well. And you will see on the lower half the bracket 5 Seasons versus Team Mental Boom. The winner of that will be going up against God's EPS Warriors in our second semifinal. Second semis best of 1.
There you go. We're definitely looking forward to it being a rematch, being almost 100% perfect revenge for Serenity versus Astrocats. We want to see that on screen, considering it's the first match of the day. Yes, I am looking forward to it. And to be fair, I got a little bit of a bias for God's EPS Warriors because I think that name is fantastic. I am an EPS Warrior myself, and I truly identify with the team.
That'll be an interesting match to watch later today. But first, we're going to go to a quick break before we head into our round 1 best of 1.
The Supergirl Gamer Pro is brought to you by Nissan. At Nissan, we make cars that thrill. Experience the thrill for yourself today. Shop nissanusa.com. And by Logitech G, who is on a mission to change gaming for good through the power of positive play. And by the United States Air Force. Full-time, part-time, in or out of uniform. Join us.
This all-new Aria is an elegant EV.
Yeah, with 389 horsepower. And all-wheel drive.
It's beautiful.
It's a beast
It's electric.
with an edge.
Oh, let's go with that.
Not very many Latina women go in the military as an officer, but I always had that desire to serve my country, and that is why I chose Air Force. The advice I would give to somebody who doesn't think that they could be an aviator, you can. You just have to decide to take another step forward, and then another one, and then another one, and then it gets easier. Don't underestimate yourself. You did this, and you could do more.
I play for me. I play for fun. I play for real. I play for friends and Friday nights. We play for all. This is a new age of play. Play your way.
Welcome back, everyone, once again. Now we get to take a look finally at the rosters. If you have not watched LCS Game Changers at all, then these will be some brand new rosters. But if you have, then you have definitely seen a lot of these players before, even across Tier 2 amateur play. We've got Serenity, we've got Astro Cats. I'm so excited. I have a little bit of merch from Serenity as well from the actual Game Changers event, but taking a look at the rosters here for Astro Cats, you see Muramina in the top lane, Solaria as your jungler, Flower Bounce, who is Fairy Girl in the mid lane, Berkeley, who is Avril as your AD carry, and Billy Worth for support. It is the same exact lineup, absolutely no changes. It was very fun to watch them play here again today.
Definitely, and Serenity is bringing to our table Dragoon, Shapeshift in the jungle, Messages in the mid lane, and Yumichi as ADC with Hello Isia as a support. So a couple of changes there, right, Chemcom?
Yeah, and you got the name right too. Congratulations. Almost no one gets Hello Isia's name right on the first try.
I did have to stop and think about it, so there you go.
Yeah, you do notice Dragoon and Messages have been subbed in there from their previous mid and top laner, but they still have the core. They still have Yumichi, Hellosia, and Shapeshift, which I think Yumichi and Hellosia were very, very strong bot lane. All three of the bot lanes were really strong Game Changers, but Hellosia and Yumichi, I always said, had the most growth throughout the whole tournament, and we get to see that growth a month past the tournament now here as well. It is, for the record, Astro Cats did win Game Changer. Serenity placed third, but again, it's been a month away. Let's see what happens in a month of more of progress, right?
Yeah, not just progress, but the roster change, right? Because having that come in differently for the top and mid lane, those are very important because they are solo lanes. However, the Serenity squad plays really goes around that because Shapeshift is going to have to go around with roaming and ganking in a completely different synergy with their players. But enough talking about what we know of them. We need to see what's on the screen for this next game. We draft ready. We jump onto this one. Serenity on the red side and Astro Cats on the blue.
Siding was actually selected in this tournament based on average solo queue ranks. So Serenity was actually seed 1 in the whole tournament based on solo queue ranks. So they do have side select here in this match, and in theory, the next match as well, assuming that they win this one. So Serenity opted for red side here. We have had a lot more choices for red side throughout this tournament than I was originally expecting. I've always been thinking it's been a blue side meta, but I've seen quite a lot of teams picking red side today and yesterday.
I think it's a good choice because considering it's a best of one, we're talking about a game where you have to predict things and what's going to happen. Sometimes it's better just to have the counter attack and have the second pick and last pick for Serenity than they want to have with guaranteeing one pick in particular. Maybe that just demonstrates that they have a very wide pool. And talking about that, we have already finished the round 1 of bans.
Very, very zooming through the bands here. We can also talk a little bit more about the bracket from where these two teams played today and yesterday. Astro Cats actually lost round 1 yesterday against one of the teams due to what some were saying was a draft error, and I believe Serenity lost round 2 as well. So they both already progressed from yesterday today, both making it to round 3, get to verse now in this best of 1. Rel was a 100% ban rate against Heloisia every single game game of Game Changers, she did come into both of these events as the rank 1 Rel NA, and she's going to continue to not get Rel a single time. It is picked away B1.
Yeah, it is. And we look at that, and it could be a flex there for Solaria, or it could be just going for Billyworth. But at the end of the day, is what you said, it's just a deny for Heloisia, considering it's not just her main, but definitely because it's such a good champion nowadays. Flower Bounce is hovering on that Jinx and has confirmed it with a Aphelios as a counter response, Kimcom.
Ooh, Aphelios versus Jinx 2. I would say pretty hyper carries, right? Like, neither of these champions particularly play for laning phase, so that does kind of hint as well to more enchanters, hopefully for both Billyworth and Heloisia. Rel was locked in, but Rel almost always goes towards jungle in the current meta, so, or at the minimum flex, so I'm not exactly expecting Billyworth to 100% have that locked in for her here yet. Also, Fairy Girl, mid lane Flower Bounce here, right? Super good Swain pick. That was her top pick in Game Changers as well. She gets it again today. I mean, she smurfed so hard on that champion. I'm excited to see her play it again. I'm assuming this is going to... Oh, it is the Lulu. Let's go, Lulu.
I love that.
I'm assuming it's going to be Shapeshift on the Talia, but I wouldn't put it past Messages. Definitely also a mage player in the mid lane, so could still be a potential flex for them as well.
Definitely, and we finished off as well with Serenity showing that they didn't think that the Rel would 100% be on support, hence why they got that Braum coming in with the Aatrox as well. And on the other side, Astro Cats is really focusing on the support with Nautilus and Rakan. Now next, you have that on the screen. To be fair, it's one of the best tanks in the top lane nowadays, and it has been for the entirety of 2023. And then Billyworth is hovering that Karma. Works out really well for the Jinx, especially because the Lulu has already been denied.
Karma was... I'm actually just going to pull up my Game Changers notes right now because Game Changers match. Let's see. Billyworth Karma stats. She played it 2 times throughout the exhibition matches. Both, actually 1 win, 1 loss. She had 32 assists total through the 2 games, even with one of them being a loss, which is kind of crazy for Karma. And Tryndamere as well has been R5'd here. I'm guessing that's going to be Tryndamere mid actually locked in here for Messages, because I'm not seeing the Cassante being flexed outside top. I think Tryndamere mid is probably a little bit more likely than that one, but this bot lane is what I was expecting. I mean, it's an Aphelios, Karma, Jinx, and Lulu, so probably a very slow, very scaling. We want to farm up to 20 minutes bot lane, which means we've got a long game.
Yeah, we do. We definitely do. But at the same time, I would say, even though both bot lanes really want to scale because of their hyper carries, I would say the Karma would have much more upper hand compared to the Lulu in the early game, just because of sheer base damage and poke potential. We can never underestimate the Lulu either. She can do some damage if she wants to. So it's going to be rather we see both junglers deciding if they want to go through with going to the bot lane, or they're going to rotate to another side. And the draft has been confirmed that Tryndamere is in the mid lane.
Okay, everything that I predicted, nothing too surprising here. I would have been much more surprised if Dragoon and Messages lane swapped. That is still a possibility for the Rift. It could be Messages walking top lane, Dragoon walking mid lane, but I am assuming that this is the actual top to support order on the screen in front of you. We've talked a lot about bot lane. Let's look more to the top side here. Jungle plus top lane meta. What do you think this is going to look like here for Sophia?
Well, I think going out here with the idea that Ornn is just going to be very self-sustainable all throughout the lane. Even if Cassante wants to go in, it would have to require a level 6 for a confirmed shutdown onto the Ornn, so it's something that takes a little bit longer. For the matchup, Talia and Rel, I would say that both of them have a good position to go onto ganks. A little bit of mobility, the Talia more towards being close to those terrains, and the Rel just because of the dashes and jumps that she has on her kit. So I would say that it really is going to depend on what they want to focus. And to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised to see either of these junglers going for the mid lane, trying to get, for example, a dominance for the Swain on top of the Tryndamere, so he doesn't have the ulti and can't just really survive any dives, because dive potential is something that can really happen with this team for Serenity.
Dive. I'm very excited for lots of dives. Hopefully lots of action here. I would guess early game early top lane and then late bot lane. That's the thought that I'm kind of going into this game here with. And then mid lane is kind of that even point. I don't think either Swain Tryndamere definitely have, I would predict their spikes at level 6. And like you've been saying, the mid jungle 2v2 at level 6 could almost be game deciding by how snowbally these two champions that they picked are for their mid laners. Yesterday, dragons were a super huge priority threat, and if either team was good at dragon stacking early 2-0 on the early dragons, they almost always won the game. I mean, I know that's the meta, but specifically here in SGGP, from what I saw yesterday as well, it was just so hard for teams to come back after early game dragon stacking, especially if they were also an early game team.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I would say that both compositions have good ways of dealing with late game. Astro Cat's much more towards team fighting, especially with Rel and Ornn, and having Jinx in the backline. But then Serenity really has so much potential for split push that Tryndamere can really just rack up a base if you take a little too long to decide if you're going to recall to defend or commit to a team fight. So there's a couple of things that could go differently on both sides, but I agree with you, if we have an upper hand for either of the sides in regards to dragon stacking or very nicely placed herald pushes, it could really decide the way and flow that the mid game goes.
All right, we've got some extra time here, so if I want to do some predictions, I'll go first. Let's see. I'm gonna go with Serenity. I'm gonna say a little bit of an upset here if you're just basing this off of GC, because they had a bye and they also got through the rounds yesterday a little bit more as well. So I think I'm gonna actually vote for Serenity here for semifinals.
Okay. It's very difficult because I would say yeah, I would say maybe it just okay. I'm gonna leave you hanging. I'm sorry, Chemcom, but we're into the rift.
No, we still have time. Nothing ever happens level 1, I promise.
Okay. Okay, I'll go with the other hand. I'll go with Astro Cats then. You gotta have some balance. You go for one, I go for the other. What do you mean?
I'm quacking because the ducky quack. Did you see a little ducky quack?
It's true. It's right there.
It's so cute. Oh my
It's
goodness.
adorable. There's a froggy. There's a froggy next to the ducky as well.
The ducky's more important.
Oh, what do you mean, ribbit? What do you mean? The ribbit quack battle. I would say so far, neither of the teams are really wanting to commit to anything like a 3 or 5 stack, or of course, they're already in the lanes, but neither of them have really placed aggressive wards, aside from that in the river by Astro Cats.
Yeah, pretty much no super aggressive wards. You do see 2 pretty defensive wards actually on the bot side by the Astro Cats. They are much better at warding. Later into the game, at usually about the 5-minute mark, is when you start to see those wards and the coaches have the impact on the warding lines at that point in the game. But other than that, just a very solid, very solid early game so far by both of these teams. Again, we've got a lot of scaling on our hands here. Probably not going to have too much in the early game.
Yeah, definitely. And don't forget that we have everything happening in this weekend. Thanks to USS Air Force, Logitech G, and Nissan. Thank you so much for supporting our tournament. And as you say, we have something much more balanced in this early game, but it feels like there's a lot of pressure coming out from Mezeris going on for that deep ward, seeing the jungle, trying to get a hand of where the enemy is. And I think that's really good from Serenity, trying to gauge the presence of the enemy jungler.
Yeah, that is the one deep ward that they have, is Serenity on the enemy blue buff. Shapeshift as well as a player, I've said it so many times, I'm going to keep saying it, she's so well known for these full clear junglers, and I'm actually kind of happy to see her back on one now. This is much more of her comfort play style, playing a Talia, playing these champions that farm until level 6 and then have big impact on the game from that point forward. So she is back on the Talia now. You just saw her full clear top to bot, and she is actually matching the clear of Solari here as well. So I don't think there's going to be a particular fight for the bot side scuttle, but they will at least spot each other on it here. Dragoon take it down pretty low. Muramina very strong on the orange. Dragoon getting that level up, extra healing for him there, and Muramina knocked back. This is a very tight level 1, or level 1v1 in the top lane.
Level 3 1v1, there we go.
Yes, there we go.
And I think Astro Cats is in a rather vulnerable position because they're pushing on forward, but Talia was around, although she decided to go for a deep ward close to the Wraith, so she's not there to back them up.
Solaria waiting in the wings. I don't think Serenity has spotted Solaria here yet, but probably not going to be necessary. Solaria is still a little bit of experience. Larry Girl forced to flash in the mid lane, knocked back though. Milky messages. Picking up the first blood for himself there. Very nicely done by Shapeshift.
I love that. It's such a super smart play because you see that the Jinx, oh my god, the flash away!
Oh, double flash, Aloysia holding on to her flash herself, but it is not going to be in time. Did actually burn a little bit early, actually. I missed that. Billyworth picking up a kill back in the favor of Astro Cats.
Yeah, and it's a 1-for-1 on the map for 4 minutes on the clock. And overall, Chemcom, I would say that it was such a good play from Serenity to translate the pressure with Shapeshift in the mid lane because the Lulu can be very safe until they overstayed how they thought they were safe. Is this a dive? No, it's just demolition. We're fine.
Nah, we're good. We're good. Vermina, I think, was put on or I'm going to look at my notes right now. Let's see how many games she got Ord. 1, 2, 3, 4 games in exhibition matches. I still don't have stats on finals. I did think I'd need them, so I didn't record them, but she definitely played Ord more during finals. But yeah, Vermina very, very comfortable on the Ord. She could play this champion or similar champions to it every day of the week, which is such a strong top laner to have in a competitive environment.
Definitely. So far, looking again here at the bot lane, especially for Serenity, they knew that because of the rotation recently from Solaria onto the bot side, getting that kill, that would mean that the two junglers would have to come back to the top side when the jungle resets, and then they would have good space to push. So Serenity has got a good grasp of that, but they are still behind on CS.
Solaria ganking mid lane here again. Messages does not have flash or ghost, and I think he just used E here as well. So only way out is forward towards Fairy Girl, and I think he did pop the ghost right then, just as it came up as well. So it is still going to be one summoner spell popped. Luckily, no level 6 for either Fairy Girl or Solaria if you are Serenity, right? So no kills to be found. Back towards them, Shapeshift root does land. Solaria walking towards the spot lane as well, but Billyworth is already dead. Yumichi putting out massive damage on an early game of Bellius. Solaria flashed away, not going to be in time. Admiral's going to be able to pick up that one. Meanwhile, here in the mid lane, Message is looking for a 1v1 against Fairy Girl, but the Tryndamere ult ran out. Not going to be in time. Across the map, I think it's a 2-for-1 in the favor of Serenity.
It really was. Okay, Solaria trying to get some damage as well, but the damage is raining back from Yumichi. What? That was one hit away from another KO for Serenity. And Chemcom, I really like what we saw overall because it was a good attempt from Serenity in the mid game, in the mid lane. Although you really got to respect the level 6 healing that you have with Swain.
Yes.
So of course the Tryndamere also has the same thing, so the potential for dive is there, but then as you said, the time ran out and it didn't work quite as well. But in the bot lane, I really appreciate Yumichi still recognizing that you had to focus on the other person. Oh my god, ulti across the wall.
Vermina is able to flash away Dragoon, following her with the Ghost. Just Vermina trying to run back towards this tower. This is a massive wave. She does not want to have this denied Messages walking up to the top lane here as well. They want to punish Vermina so badly, and it will be Messages picking up that kill for himself as well, sitting 2-1 on the Tryndamere. We're taking a tour across Summoner's Rift. Whee!
Yeah, whee! After overall, I would say both teams are doing well with the positions that they can be in. So we saw Swain doing good defense when there was a dive, but then we see so much roaming and map presence from Serenity that it's becoming a little too hard for Astro Cats to try to defend themselves. There's always a dive going on, and it's something that we talked about, that composition. They really want to do dives. So although that's the case, bot lane, Aphelios is still a little bit behind on the CS. That gets taken away by the 2 kills that they've got. So this would mean that they're rather equal and even a little bit ahead. And what we see from Serenity is that they're focusing on kills. Are we going to see Astro Cats coming out for more objective priority, do you think?
We do have Serenity starting up the first Rift Herald on spawn here. Nobody has even looked at that first dragon yet, so maybe if we get another bot lane play like that one was, I think it was right at dragon spawn or slightly before it even, so there was no opportunity to really transition that straight into the first dragon. So instead, it will be the first Rift Herald picked up now by Serenity. I would assume most likely looking to drop that mid lane Messages, having 2 kills in the early game. Get him a couple of extra tower plates could be very helpful in getting this Tryndamere some extra items.
Yeah, getting close here. The Rune looks to be interested in a dive again, but it's an Ornn. You gotta be careful. Just a couple of hits here and there, while the Drake has been started.
Drake started up now by the Astro Cats. Messages hovering around in the wings, but is not really a jungler himself, so cannot actually commit anything more towards this dragon. So it is that first dragon for first Rift Herald trade, and it is, I believe, a Hextech dragon for dragon number 2. Of course, it's not actually an ocean.
There's also a big balanced trade in regards to platings all across the map. All Messages.
Messages rooted back onto the turret. Popping the Ghost has that Tryndamere ult as well. Burning both the flashes on both of the mid laners. Okay, Messages just running down Fairy Girl just casually between the turrets.
Yeah, between the turrets. Oh, Solaria coming through to help. Are they gonna get caught? Maybe Shapeshift is around.
I think Solaria is just here to hold the wave potentially, but does land a good stun onto Messages, because why not? But yeah, Messages and Yumichi are going to be the 2 carries for the team here. They are both AD champions though, so if Fairy Girl and Muramita are able to build enough armor, in theory, it's going to be very difficult to kill them.
True, but at the same time, we see a lot of kill participation coming from Shapeshift themselves. Solaria coming here on the bot lane. Okay, just trying to scare them off a bit while they clear out the vision. And if we have Shapeshift potentially being a big AP threat on the side of Serenity, then things could be a little more evened out.
Man, they just keep bullying Muramita. Man, she got bullied at GC. She's getting bullied here in this tournament too. They just don't want her to have fun. Dragoon has taken this entire turret without even the help of a Rift Herald. It's still sitting in Shapeshift's pocket right now.
That's insane.
Yeah, he does have Demolish as well, so it's not super crazy, but I just mean like Muramita's going to be playing from the inner turret at this point on. She has been denied so much experience, so much CS. Dragoon is sitting almost 40 CS up on her right now. She is so far behind Dragoon. It's crazy.
It really is, but it's still an Ornn, and that can do so much in teamfights. But so far, no teamfights to be found, just the 1v1s, unless
Solaria coming up, knockup does land. There's another knockup as well. It's going to be very difficult to fight Dragoon. Not going to get the ult over the wall. Doesn't have flash for himself either. Pops the Ghost that he is just about able to run away to safety.
And the split push menace now doesn't have the split push going on with Herald. Gonna take the first brick of the game, very close to being the second brick by Serenity. And there's a lot of gold for Messages and Shapeshift so they can grow quite a bit, control the side of the bottom jungle, and that could lead into an early Drake as soon as it spawns next. And whenever we do have a pass there on the Drake, we can have a look at what type that will be, because of course it's not going to be an ocean. There he goes, the second tier 1.
2 tier 1s taken before the 12:30 minute mark by Serenity is an absolute masterclass of the Soul Lane early game play that they have so far, right? That is 10 tower plates taken on these 2 side lanes, and then also the 1 tower plate that the bot lane of Serenity has taken as well. It is all going to be on Avril and Billyworth right now to carry Astro Cats. The Soul Laners are going to take much longer to be able to get back into this game. Messages and Dragoon are going to be so hard to stop in these team fights later.
It really will, and although you have the late game potential with the ornaments, helping out the Jinx, getting more scaling onto her pockets, it can still be too big of a wrestle for them to try to be there. Oh my god, this jungle!
No, stop bullying them, please. This is cybercrimes on my screen right now. They even polymorphed her. They just brought the whole squad up there to bully Solaria and Muramita, man. That that jungle is just not yours anymore. Serenity own the map right now.
Yeah. They really do, and I would say that they have been owning the map since the very first minutes with rotation out from Shapeshift, with how they have been playing Dakasante and messages on the Tryndamere. Everything has been super great for Serenity in this early game. It's just up to them to confirm the next objectives, get more platings because they're still, oh no, never mind, there's still just 10 seconds, so no more platings for them. But at the end of the day, it could be something that flips on its head because of objectives. And Astro Cats already has one Drake.
We've talked so much about the soul laners here, but the jungler Shapeshift as well has been setting up these soul lanes so well. She's been matching the ganks from Solaria. She's been at these objectives first. She was able to get that first Rift Shield, which broke open mid lane, and now you see that Messages gets to walk around bot lane, walk around the whole bot side jungle. Top side jungle as well is just under so much threat because Shapeshift and these soul lanes have been able to punish them so consistently in the first 15 minutes of this game. Second dragon has started up. Once again, is the Hextech dragon going to be so difficult for Astro Cats to take it? They are the ones that start it, but they don't really have the prior to actually be able to finish it. Dragoon is just running them down. Solaria is 3 levels underneath this top laner right now, and it is just a gift of a dragon over to Serenity. Dragoon is solo keeping the 5 members of Astro Cats on the bot side of the map here. Fairy Girl diving in this backline does find some extra seconds with this wave and stopwatch. Do they have the damage and the healing to finish them off? No, here comes Messages in your backline. He is unkillable, unstoppable. You cannot do anything about this Tryndamere, but on the other side as well, Dragoon do the same thing. Avril and Fairy Girl, last 2 members. Can they take down Dragoon? Avril just about able to land the double kill. Fairy Girl as well cleans them up for the ace. They lost the dragon, but they pick up 5 kills for Astro Cats.
Camcom ever was soloing kiting Messages. They really just finished kiting a Tryndamere. That really happened just slightly off screen. And I agree with you, there was no priority for Astro Cats to start that fight or the Drake in itself, because Serenity had all the vision on that map. You like a couple of minutes ago, you could see the map was absolutely red. Everything was blinking red, and every time there was anything of vision coming out from Astro Cats, it was being cleaned by Serenity. So having that fight become so incredibly good for Astro Cats, especially for Avril, and how great we had Swain going onto the team fight using that stopwatch, it really turned things around. And although it was a Drake for Serenity, they really shrunk a little bit of that gold advantage for Serenity, and having the objective bounties on board, things are gonna start to equal out a bit.
It is still a 4,000, 5,000 gold lead for Serenity, yes, but that gold swing from the Dragon team fight is still very, very helpful for Astro Cats. Even going 1 for 1 when you're this far behind is helpful. Going 3 for 5 is just that much better. Netting 2 kills in your favor, that is how you need to play to get back into this game. Even up the Dragons here as well. Everything is going well for the Astro Cats in the past couple of minutes. It was just the early game was so well played by Serenity as well. We do have a Chemtech soul, which isn't the greatest soul in the game. It feels more like a takeaway soul is what we called it yesterday, rather than a winning the game kind of soul. But it will still be helpful for either of these teams.
Yeah, definitely. We are never really excited about a Chemtech soul, but it's fine. Remember once in a day when Chemtech would revive you? That was chaotic times. It was a long time ago. But in this matchup, I see that both teams, aside from the goal differential you mentioned, that really built because of this early game pressure and success the Serenity had, Astro Cats are coming into the mid game with much more capabilities of stacking this one out. They have rallies on the Swain, and slowing this Tryndamere down must be one of the best strategies.
I was a little bit worried for Messages in the bot lane right now. That was a little bit too close for my comfort, at least. Vermina is able to hold herself a little bit stronger in the inner turret than the outer turret was going for her in the earlier phases of the game. We've got 2 minutes left for this next Chemtech Dragon now. But yeah, Serenity, you do see, I was talking about this earlier in the game, where these teams are really, really good at the vision lines. That is very hard to get in competitive games because it requires such strong communication, and that does show that these teams have been together, I would say, probably longer than any other teams in these tournaments.
Yeah, but not just that, we mentioned there was a roster switch up there, so two of these players are new on the side of Serenity, and even though that's the case, they really are showing incredible communication with all the map presence and vision that we have seen. And talking a little bit about that Chemtech soul that we mentioned, the thing that excites me the most about it, I would say it's the enhancement with the plants. So having bigger vision, having bigger jumps around the map, that is very interesting. I would say that is one of the things I like the most about it. And it also brings a different perspective than an Inferno Soul does. When you have an Inferno Soul, then there's just eyes all over the Dragon Pit, and people are just really going for focusing that objective. But considering it's a soul like this, sometimes like a Cloud Soul too, then you see both teams focusing other things around the map.
Posturing for this next dragon, you see Serenity trying to get this mid wave as well as bot wave in their favor for the prio. And Asher Cats, they're going to be fighting mostly blind in the jungle. They have one ward in the bot side jungle right now. It's going to be so hard to fight in anything other than Serenity's favor and advantage here. In the last team fight that Asher Cats did win for this dragon, they were there first. They were not walking in already pre-disadvantaged before the team fight started. You see Mermaid in the top lane as well, just split pushing. They know that they cannot push towards this dragon, so they end up playing for the split push top side game instead. The Baron is spawned. I said a whole lot of times yesterday I like 20-minute Barons. I think 20-minute Baron might be more realistic. That was a really clean flash by Fairy Girl.
Yeah, very close as well, because noticing there was something more than just messages coming around, especially because Serenity has so much control over the side of the jungle. Massive. And a big push here that helps messages with the split push is the Herald hitting that tower for a lot of damage. Again, Dragoon going out for the split in the top lane, and we know how this mid side of the map, because of the control over the two sides of the jungle, really has been all over Serenity. Oh my god,
Just in the bot lane here does have the Tryndamere ult to buy some extra time. Billy Worth might not be long for this world. Message is just gonna auto her to death. Fair Girl and Avril, though, very scary duo, will be gifting that kill over to Avril. Messages knew he was dead no matter what there. The best thing he could possibly do is trade that kill out 1-for-1, and that is exactly what he is able to do. Baron, again, doesn't seem like a terrible idea to be doing right now.
Yeah, but at the same time, what you want to do, I would say, for Serenity is take advantage of the distraction you had in the bot lane. They pushed out the top. Fine. Reset. Get things in a better position. Although there was one person down, Billy Worth is already back, so it wouldn't make that much difference. The Karma could go very fast and arrive into the Baron fight in the last minute if necessary. So I would say it's a more prudent decision to just push in the top lane, reset, leave a couple of wards here and there like they have on this side of the map, because 3 minutes until the next Drake to spawn, it would be a soul point for Serenity themselves. I would say it was a good conservative choice.
Looking back towards the Game Changers match history, the only wins that Serenity were able to take over Asher Cats was in the Week 3 exhibition matches, where Serenity actually 2-0'd Asher Cats. It was a super clean, super dominant 2-0 win from Serenity as well, which at the time was a pretty massive upset, and that actually led to a roster change for Asher Cats going into finals the next week, that being Solario in the jungle. And now they're beating the June jungler as well. It is just so much improvement that we have seen from Serenity, not only from the 4 weeks that Game Changers was, but now from, I think it's 4 or even 5 weeks since that event. So this team has still stuck together. I love that they are still playing together, still, I'm assuming, scrimming together if they are still in the same exact form that I do remember them playing during the event. Yumichi and Helosia were a dominant bot lane in the last 2 weeks, and I love that they are still able to do that against the Avril Billy Worth lane as well.
Yeah, they started out as Baron here, Chemcom, but do they have a good position to do it?
Dragoon trying to run away to the top side here, but he doesn't really have a team. Walking in a little bit late from the mid lane. Shapeshift and Alosia have arrived. Yumichi, watch her on the flank on the top side. There goes Aphelios ult. Massive damage. Dragoon as well, still alive with the Wild Gravulu on him. And there, I mean, Astro Cats have just been absolutely decimated. Fairy Girl, last member standing. She has so much healing with the Swangle, but it is not nearly enough. It's a 5-0 clean ace now picked up by Serenity.
Serenity have a clean Baron to take down. The timers are incredibly high for Astro Cats at this moment. 23 minutes into the game, and they really built a 10,000 gold lead for the side of Serenity with 4 towers to 0. 4 towers to 0,
Right?
I repeat. And 2 Drakes for 1. At this stage, things are really getting super messy for Astro Cats because they not just have the buff, but they have the split pushes for it.
Tryndamere, one of, if not the best split pushers in the game, I would definitely say.
Yeah.
And you leave him on the side lane for long enough, he can definitely end the game solo, which makes this even more of a difficult macro game for the Astro Cats to try and win here. This next dragon comes up in 30 seconds, so that's going to be a very important one for the Astro Cats to try and contest Solaria. That's your jungler. You do not wish a jungler being bowled out from vision 20 seconds for a dragon.
Definitely not. And there's so much vision as well that they have to commit to taking. So some time with using paint wards, with using sweepers, and using those resources to just take out everything the Serenity has gained of control over this territory. So you gotta take care with, okay, they're going to focus the Drake, or are they going to focus mid lane? They have Baron. Do we have the potential to defend against the Tryndamere?
Has been popped. Here comes TP as well. Messages in the back line. Finds some extra time with his ult. Dragoon has arrived as well. Magistorm lands onto 2, but you gotta watch Shapeshift as well as your Aphelios. Yumichi again.
Oh, damn!
So massive, but she is just dead. You gotta kite out Shapeshift now. Dragoon in the backline putting out massive damage. Shapeshift taking down 1 Elise Dragoon. 1v3 triple kill now for Shapeshift. Ults in to try and get the quadruple at Dragoon. Getting the double kill off the back of it as well. Yet again, it's another ace for Serenity, but they lost 3 members for it this time.
That is incredible they managed to do that. Astro Cats with basically Avril and Flower Bounce, they're just getting so much damage down. Swain was pivotal to that team fight, being able to get a little bit into the back line because of how much survivability they have. There's a couple of tower shots, but they are fine. Tier 2 in the mid lane has been defeated. Bottom tier 3 as well. That inhibitor is wide open. And if Messages wants to go for either of the side lanes, things could get very scary for Astro Cats.
Open inhibitor in the bot lane, like you just said, so it's going to be so easy for Messages to walk down and just take whenever he really feels like it, preferably with a wave, but I mean, barely even needs a wave anymore
Yeah, sometimes.
at this point, right? Baron buff for Serenity does run out here in 15 seconds, so that is probably the last real push they'll get with this specific Baron, but got another Baron spawning in a couple of minutes. That will be another pretty massive fight sitting at now soul point for Serenity. Everything has gone so well for them. They are at, what is it, a 13,000 gold lead? So, something absolutely ridiculous. Now they're at 13,000 gold lead though, but that last fight was a 5-3, so it's not totally crazy yet.
Yeah, it really is, and I would say that's all because of how much the Jinx can scale. They have the... well, what's that? Oh, the Infinity Edge. They have the 2 other items completing now what makes the power spike for a Jinx. If you get potential protection for your team fight, you really can be the biggest DPS for Astro Cats because Flower Bounce can just really go into the backline and get those things happening. Well, was that a ghost? Oh, was a ghost from Avril herself, really fearing Messages on this one. Are you going to commit to it? Oh man.
Messages,
Maybe
you
she
gotta
should.
decide on this. Yeah. I mean, Avril burned Ghost and ult for that, and Messages still might have won the fight if he opted to use either Flash or ult himself there as well. That is how close this game is. It does not feel close. You look at the gold lead, you see 13,000, and it's like, oh, it's a stomp. It's not a close game at all. And it's still like, again, last fight, it was just a 2 kill difference between these teams, right? Like, I still think Astro Cats are very able to win this game if they win 1 or even 2 team fights in a row. It is not that hard with the objective baddies and big bounties on the top side of Serenity that you could pick up there as well, especially if those go into Fairy Girl or Avril's pockets. That could be a massive Jinx or Swain problem to deal with later.
Yeah, really things could flip on their head if that happens, especially going to the carries. We are looking at Shapeshift with 700 gold on their heads. Dragoon with 500 gold, both of them just dying a total of 3 times combined, all throughout 30 minutes of game. So is Serenity going to make a mistake here? Are they gonna be able to come back?
Dragoon might be caught out here. Lucia popping the Shirelias to engage for her team. Dragoon does not want to take this fight, but you gotta watch messages. Messages is in your base. Run away, my friends. Mermaid is sent back to the fountain for 45 seconds. Messages is on your inhibitor, and the rest of the team is stunned. They are down. They are out. Dragoon is still running them down with the Wild Growth on his head as well. Bot lane inhibitor has taken mid lane inhibitor. Next up under fire, Shapeshift flashing forward as your jungler goes golden to survive the extra tower shots. Billyworth and Avril, last 2 members underneath the turret, and they're dead as well. That's it. Serenity, they get yet another upset over the Astro Cat champions of the Game Changers. Serenity have shown up today, and they will purchase their ticket to another finals.
Yeah, they did. And this was not even like absolutely disparate. There was a big goal differential, but we felt that Astro Cats could win those fights. There were some times where Swain yeah, it was very possible. That could be a turnaround. And having Swain dealing so much damage, those stopwatches with Zonias were really, really good most of the times. Having Lulu as well, using the Wild Growth to help out anyone that would go in the backline like Solaria with the Rel. It was working. It was working so much. But then you had the distraction, the decision making that Serenity really pushed onto Astro Cats. Which, there you go. That they pushed onto Astro Cats. Are you going to team fight or are you going to defend Tryndamere? See, Froggy, Ribbit wins over Quack.
Froggy wins over Quack this time, but we do have some replays to check out just in case you forgot how that game just went.
There you go. Alright, 20 minutes into the game, we have this fight where we see messages still taking one person down before everything collapsed. And team fights into Baron buffs, into Drakes that could have gone to Astro Cats that were very close. But then when you have the last person that was considered to be the numbers disadvantage for Serenity, they really came back around. So whenever we saw Dragoon coming back to the fight, that was the moment where things really went well for Serenity.
The positioning and kiting that I'm watching from Shapeshift as well as Yumichi through all of these team fights that we see on the screen again were so amazing. Shapeshift, especially in this team fight right here, the kiting was so good. She was almost at 100 HP this entire team fight. Almost was a pentakill for Shapeshift right here if Dragoon didn't steal 1 or 2 of those kills as a double kill for himself. Triple kill as well for messages to end off the game. I mean, every single member for Serenity got a moment to shine in this game. Hello, Isia as well. I mean, I gotta love Lulu. I'm the only person to ever get the LCS studio to cheer for a Lulu pick. I'm gonna continue with that trend.
No, I am the same person. If I'm ever doing anything together with you again, I'm always gonna be going for the Lulu. I love that support. It's just very versatile, right?
So
fun.
I
feel like it, and it represents a lot of what we have seen from Astro Cats. But this day is not Astro Cats. They are out of the. They are out.
Not entirely
out.
No.
Not entirely out. They are
They're still
out
third
of
place
the
match.
first and second place podium. There you go. They are fighting for the 3rd place. We're going to see how this is going to go for the next semi-finals. But Serenity, we talked about it. Whenever you get a little step closer into the 1st place, you are almost guaranteed that final 3rd or 4th place into the money of the podium for tomorrow.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, let's take a look at the bracket for where we stand now. So Serenity have officially qualified. They will 100% be playing tomorrow and looking at the 5 seasons versus Team Mental Boom. We were waiting on that matchup during our game here, and it does look like 5 seasons were able to take down Team Mental Boom once again. So It is going to be 5 seasons versus Gods Beast Warriors for our second semis match. And once again, finals will be Serenity versus the winner of that match. In the third place match, a best of 1 will be Astro Cats versus the loser of that match. So they are still very much in contention to qualify for tomorrow. Serenity is the only one that has 100% qualified for tomorrow, but we gotta watch that other best of 1 semis to see where everyone lands for today. We will be going to a quick break before we watch that next game here.
This all-new Aria is an elegant EV.
Yeah, with 389 horsepower. And all-wheel drive.
It's beautiful.
It's a beast
It's electric.
with an edge.
Oh, let's go with that.
know I suggest. You know I said yes. You know I said yes.
This all-new Aria is an elegant EV.
Yeah, with 389 horsepower. And all-wheel drive.
It's beautiful.
It's a beast
It's electric.
with an edge.
Oh, let's go with that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Supergirl Gamer Pro broadcast. Game number 2, sort of. Game number 2 for us, but game number 1 for yet another best of 1 here today. Second semifinals match, final semifinals match. Again, I'm Camcom, joined by Soph-chan for today's stream. We've got 2 brand new teams for you here. 2 teams that we have not seen, but they did play, I believe. Yeah, they did both play yesterday as well, so this is the farthest they have gone so far across both days. They just gotta win this one, and then they have qualified, or lose this one, and then win one more, and then they're qualified. So they are just that much closer, 2 potential games away from qualifying here today. Let's take a look at our rosters. 5 seasons taking on Gods, EP's Warriors. 5 seasons.
I would assume. Yeah, I would assume you're leaving God's EPS Warriors to me, so go ahead.
You got that one. 5 seasons. We have Zurzo in the top lane, King Nidhogg as your jungler, Season of Leaves, which is probably one of my favorite IGNs I think I've ever seen before as your mid laner, Kisses, and Shy Girl for your bot lane.
Yeah, and on the side of God's EPS Warriors, we have Gorilla Jones in the top lane, Ionia in the jungle, Effortlessness, there you go. That's going to be very difficult during the broadcast, but that is fine. In the mid lane, Paragon being your ADC bot laner, and Boy in the support role.
I think effortlessness might be the most letters I've ever seen in an IGN. I don't know if I've ever seen
like
more
in a
letters.
single word, right?
Definitely in a single word, but potentially just in any IGN ever. A lot of letters.
It's a lot of letters, and they make very similar sounds, and it makes my head go durr. But it's
need
okay.
more letters.
We're gonna be fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. 13, that's quite a lot. That's quite a lot. But it's a new matchup, as you said, Kim Com, and it's a matchup that got both teams into much further of the bracket, so this is definitely going to be the biggest of moments because they really want to be confirmed for grand finals already instead of having to play another one to fight for the third place.
Absolutely. Looking at the games that they have both played today so far, playing a lot better than they were yesterday, where it looks like God's EPS Warriors, their first game was a 17-minute win, and the second was a 23-minute win. So, that was some very short game times that they have had so far. 5 seasons. Game 1 was 22 minutes, and Game 3 was 33. So, potentially, definitely some closer games for them there. But anything under 20 minutes, a 17-minute win, like, before you even sort of officially FF as your team, I consider 20-minute FF the true official FF, especially in competitive. Like, people don't ever FF in competitive, but I don't think a 15-minute FF is fair. I think 20-minute FF is the correct number. So before you could even FF a 17-minute win, that's kind of crazy to see in a 5v5 comp game.
It really is, and especially since you're thinking, wow, before 20, there's not even a Baron there. Not even a Baron is on the map, and they have won the game. It just ended. That means tier 1, 2, 3 inhibitors, Nexus turrets, and the Nexus. How do you do that? And well, that really shows that this team is coming with incredible early game pressure. They're not just getting super dominant. It must mean that because we haven't had them on the stream so far, we must have gameplay that goes for dives, multiple ganks, secures those objectives as soon as they arrive, and a lot of platings. I would say a lot of platings must be the name of the game because you guarantee the extra gold from the early stages, and then when the platings fall, you can take those towers with as much success as possible.
And taking a look at the bracket here once again, reminder, the winner of this best of 1 will then verse Serenity, the winner of our other semifinals, in a finals best of 3. They will have already qualified for the champions bracket, but that best of 3 is to determine who gets a bye in the champions bracket as well, and that bye also guarantees them immediately into the 3rd or 4th place shared pool of prize pool. And we are actually ready for a draft instead, so we can move right into draft for our game 1 best of 1 semifinals here between 5 seasons, and I'm gonna call them Warriors from now on, so the Warriors.
There you go. The sleepy boys. I love it. I love this. I just love this meme. I love the little cat that comes with the meme. That's the God's EPS soldier. I love it. I identify with it, and I think if I'm going for a prediction based on anything, it's just gonna go based on that and the IGN with 13 letters.
Effortlessness is...
Effortlessness. Oh, okay.
I'm so impressed that you can do like 2 long casts in 1 day in 2 different languages. My brain can't even comprehend that.
I will say it really is the power of inclusivity, because I was doing Ignis Cup having inclusivity scenario there for Brazil, and then we have here with Supergirl Gamer. That's just what I want, right? Because if it was anything else, maybe I would have been like, I don't know if I can do it. But then here we are. Final first round of bans is finished. The first pick came through with a Jax, and then with a Soraka coming into a Cassandre.
Okay, Soraka. I am a Soraka fan. I think Soraka is a little bit hard to play in the current meta, but boy, did play it in game number 2 today for her as well. So she does at least have a little bit of experience, a little bit of comfort playing it here minimum today. But the immediate response of Jinx, Seraphine as well, being a flex between mid and support, is super helpful to counteract the Soraka healing, the Soraka quote-unquote damage, I guess, and just general utility. I think always favors the Seraphine in that matchup. Evelyn being locked in, this might just be the first, maybe second game of Evelyn I have ever cast in my casting career. Okay.
Well, it's a moment. It's a moment. We're gonna.
It is a moment
to future generations about this because it really doesn't happen that often. But we have completed our second round of bans with a lot of focus on that jungle for the side of the Warriors and 5 seasons going for the Tryndamere that we saw popping off in the previous game for Astro Cats and Serenity, and Ione to wrap it up as well.
I'm checking Ione as OP right now. Maybe they have a different account, but on the Ione account, they don't have any Evelyn games. So I'm curious what made them decide to pick it right here. Evelyn, as a champion, is super good into immobile, squishy champions like the Jinx and the Seraphine that it was picked into, as well as the Karma that has now been locked in here as well. So it is, in theory, a good champion for this draft. But I'm a little bit worried if Ione doesn't have any games on the champion, that they might have a very difficult time, especially against Lee Sin, who is one of the best counters to Evelyn in the jungle. He can constantly be perma-invading you. King Nidhogg as well is a very good champion, or very good player at predicting the enemy jungler's movement. He's made so many videos. I watched those videos when I used to be a jungle main on how to predict enemy movement and how to correctly, correctly invade based on your prediction of enemy movement, which is kind of exactly how you're supposed to play against Evelyn. Before level 6, she's one of the weakest junglers in the game.
She really is. She really is. She doesn't go visible. She used to have a faster clear. Now she's got a reasonable clear, so times could be a little behind. The Lee Sin can just have so much mobility, using out the Q, getting a sense of where the enemy jungler is just by throwing an ability over the wall, that if you think about the range on a Q for the Evelyn, it's just much closer. So there is so much more that the Lee Sin could do. I totally agree with you on the biggest counters for the Evelyn. So I would expect from the Lee Sin to really go onto invades, maybe even have a 4-5 stack here in the beginning. And it could even lead to vertical jungling. But considering there's also a Jax on the side of 5 seasons, I would say that vertical jungling would be a mistake from Evelyn, because she's not gonna fare well if the Jax decides to go into the jungle.
Evelyn also has one of the most micro-intensive min-max clears in the game. It is extremely difficult to correctly get the first full clear done in a reasonable amount of time on Evelyn, even for top challenger players. And again, I'm not seeing Evelyn games on Ione's account, so I'm hoping to God that they have a different account with Evelyn games now. We've talked a lot about this jungle matchup. Let's look a little bit more at the bot lane here as well. I think Yasuo is a very solid counter to the Seraphine pick in the mid lane, where you can just win wall the Seraphine ult. Like, that is a massive part of her kit, especially later in the game for team fights, right? Like, that is usually the wombo combo that teams pick Seraphine for, is with the Encore ultimate. And if you could just press the W and win wall it, that blocks so much damage that 5 seasons are trying to do in this draft.
Yeah, and to be fair, the win wall for Yasuo is one of the most annoying things I ever see in this game. I hate it so much whenever I'm playing mid lane, and even when I have a Yasuo quote-unquote ADC in the bot lane against me, I'm just like, okay, FF, that's fine. Okay, it's done. I just hate it. It's one of the most annoying champions, and I agree with you. It's so useful, especially because Seraphine's cooldowns are gigantic. If Season of Leaves can't really time well whenever she's gonna use Encore, and of course, considering the cooldown on the wind wall, it's just going to be much faster to charge. So if she doesn't really counter that well, then things could go super south, because they do have a potential of helping out Kisses. They have the heals, the shields, and the Karma, of course, to do the peeling effect. But are they going to have a good engage? Nidhogg, Nick. Oh my god. Nidhogg. Okay. Being a Lee Sin, it requires having good opportunities for flanks. So with a team that has a Yasuo in the potential going into the back line, are they gonna have any opening for that? But we're gonna find it out really soon, Chemcom, as we jump onto the Rift. And do you have any expectations in particular for this game?
Oh, expectations. Let's see. It is almost an identical bot lane matchup to the one we just watched. So if it's anything like we just watched, Jinx is going to get a double kill, like level 4. I think that's what's going to happen. That's my very official prediction, yes. I think we've talked about it in a draft lot, but I do think Nidhogg is just going to be on the permanent invade, never leaving Ionia's jungle ever in this early game. I don't think Nidhogg is going to clear his jungle at all during this early game. Right now, we do have an invade. A little bit of just a bush stack going on right here. I don't think Ionia will actually walk towards this bush, but if they did, it would be a little bit scary. But other than that, not a whole lot. You do see a red ward in the bot lane Pixel Rush, but I mean, that's a pretty standard ward, so nothing too crazy here.
Yeah, and nothing going on to the side of potentially getting more vision into the enemy red buff, because considering you most always are going to see the invade coming out from the Lee Sin, it could have been a good choice to see God ZPS Warriors going out for the Tri-Bush Ward or something a little more advanced into the jungle, but it was a 5-stack, didn't really need to much aside from that vision, but we still see that Zezo is still there, right there in the jungle, so getting some onto Gorilla Jones and some damage as well.
So just a little bit of level 1 damage, nothing too super crazy there in the top lane. These are like probably number 1, number 2 meta picks in the top lane, Jax plus versus Kazante, right? So this is a matchup that everybody has seen so much. If you have watched Worlds at all, if you've watched any sort of tournament in the past couple of patches, Kazante and Jax are just such popular and common top laners that you see right now. You do see Evelyn as well doing, it looks like, a top to bot clear, and so far has not been invaded, but again, Nidhogg is probably just gonna be jumping to the bot side blue buff right now. That's my prediction.
Yeah, it makes sense. On this bottom lane here, you would expect to see the Karma being very aggressive onto these pushes, but as well, you want to be careful with how you push the lane, because you don't want to hit your Q on many of those minions, because you don't want to get things too advanced for the Jinx. Oh my, Evelyn is really going on to a close dive there, but of course, too early to see any of that happening.
Yeah, I was actually watching the map, and Everlessness walked into the chicken pit, saw Nidhogg, ulted him a couple of times, I'm assuming, and also warded it. So they now know, or the Warriors now know exactly what Nidhogg's clear is, and that might just give enough time for Ionia to do a full clear without being invaded once, which is actually a super good play for Effortlessness. Playing that mid-jungle 2v2 communication game is very difficult, especially in the early game. Oh, I thought nothing was going to happen. Okay, Paragon actually picks up the first blood, even with the exhaust on his head. I mean, that's how you do it. I didn't think that anything was going to happen, so I didn't talk about it, but okay, Paragon.
Yeah, great dodges there from Paragon. A lot of great spacing, and considering that you know you have a Soraka with you, you're going to be so sustained all throughout those team fights, and the versatility that you have with the pack and abilities for Felius just really makes things a little more easy for them to try to get, okay, now I'm going more range, now I'm going more close, and taking advantage of what is the build that you have with your weapons really works out super well for them. So far, we have both jugglers on the level 4, and they are equal on those camps as well.
Charm popped on the Season of Leaves. Ionia will spot out Nidhogg in the bush here as well. So far, their clears are perfectly mirrored. Nothing has changed between these two junglers, which Evelyn will outscale Lee Sin every single day of the week. So this does definitely favor Ionia. Wow, where did we just teleported? What just happened?
Yeah, and go zoom.
We're zoom.
And I totally agree with you. It's very impressive that they got that much vision and map awareness that you pointed out because of that deep ward on the Wraiths by yes, well. And having that just guarantees Iona such a better time clearing out the wave, clearing out the jungle, and now even ahead of the Lee Sin. I wouldn't expect that to happen.
Looking towards the bot lane here, Paragon did not do what I was predicting and give Jinx double kill again, level 4. So I guess it's gonna be the Aphelios actually picking up the double kill. I'm sorry. But yeah, Paragon and Boy have had an excellent time so far in the bot lane here. So they've got the constant push. They've had the pressure enough of the time to have Ionia be able to get that bot lane scuttle, but the flash away from Nidhogg is unfortunate to be used this early in the game. You want to be able to save those flashes in the bot lane until the junglers hit 6, because that is when the ganks are actually going to be scary.
And there's a big pressure here coming out from the bot lane of the Warriors, pushing out, shoving the lane, because they have vision all around the river, and having Ionia pathing this way guarantees that they're going to have a better time having a gauge of should they go for the Drake. Oh, okay, there was a snare there onto Paragon, but it didn't really lead to anything else. And I found it interesting that top lane was even being won by the level 5, now level 6 on both of them. It's almost a kill.
Gorilla Jones just ghosted and ran away. I mean, that's just how the Kazante magic works sometimes. It's so funny when top laners don't even take Flash, they just take Ghost instead, and then they run away, and it's like, usually Flash is like, okay, now we know that you're out, but Ghost is like so much more suspenseful. It's like, are they actually gonna make it out? They're just running really fast.
They just speed running. And Chemcom, we see here that because they had that pressure here, Warriors on the bottom side, and good vision and control, they could help Ionia clear out the jungle. They could get the first Drake. It was a mountain buff for the Warriors, so pretty great what they could assert in here, especially because if they get Aphelios ahead already on 1 kill up compared to the Jinx, that is going to be huge for mid-game.
Taking Dragon as well as an early game Evelynn, though, it does slow down your clear a little bit. You see Nidhogg did have a chance right then to get the first invade, ganked in the mid lane, though. He's a really good flash and the encore buffer, but you had the, I think it's Demonic Embrace is an item. It's a very similar name for the Evelynn ult.
Oh yeah, for the ulti. Yeah, I forgot.
What is it called? It's something Embrace, but not Demonic.
I don't know, Lover's Embrace. I don't think it's that.
Oh, it's Caress. It's like Final Caress or something. It's something really weird. I'm gonna Google it right now.
Agony's Embrace.
Oh my god.
Agony's Embrace.
See, look, I'm so close.
Very close. Very close.
Anyways, yes, Ionia hit the R very well.
That one click, yeah. they nailed it.
Look at that go.
It was super good, and you mentioned that as well, like having the possibility of things getting a little slowed down for the jungle clear. It's so good to go for that mid-game, mid-lane gank. Oh, top lane is going ram.
Top lane, Gorilla Jones flashing from Xerxio, trying to get that kill onto Gorilla Jones, but now it's 1v1 isolated with the junglers winning it on either side. Zephyrless first one to walk up from mid lane, but the top laner's already dead. Both the junglers in the 1v1s won them individually. Charm dropped on the Nidhogg there as well, but he's Lee Sin. He's not going to be caught out that easily by the Evelynn. And Rift Total's up. I thought for a second that they might be able to transition into that one there for the Warriors, but they will be very nice and happy to get the 4 Darksteel stacks onto Ionia.
Oh yeah. I was going to mention exactly that, Camcom. The stacks are stacking. Oh, okay, flash away from the ulti, denying that potential kill there onto Shaigo. But we see that Warriors, we noticed that when we're talking about statistics for the teams, that they really know how to manage a early game, and they're doing that super well. So even though they have an Evelynn, they are really making this Evelynn feel like it has the same advantage in the early game like the Lee Sin does.
The reason why champions like Evelynn and similar are not typically picked in competitive play is because they are so feast or famine, right? Like, if you put Evelynn behind in the early game, there's simply no good way to get her back in the game, especially if the enemy team is 5 people in comms, right? But on the flip side of that, if Evelynn does get out of control and you're able to snowball them correctly, then it can be a very scary champion. It's just a lot harder to do, and teams don't typically want to risk it in comp play because of how terrible the champion can be if put behind. But right now, Ionia, they're playing the champion very well, honestly. Like, this is the best that you could possibly do, especially into such a strong counter such as the Lee Sin, and they're making it look easy.
They really are, and all of the lanes here, we see them really going for those platings, knocking down so much gold. Paragon is by themselves, and they still feel comfortable because they have Shadow there from Ionia, from Boy, going absolutely over all of the jungle, this bottom side of 5 seasons, and they might even go for a dive. There is the Agony's Embrace enabled.
Agony's Embrace, that's the name that I will not forget again, thank you. Yes.
Yes.
Ionia, we're in the bot lane right now, you see. Kissies and Shy Girl forced to walk very far behind those 2 turrets. Charm popped onto Shy Girl, Silence as well, but that is only the Karma. Boy's gonna be caught in the traps, actually. Kissy's gonna try and run them down. TP now coming in from Seraphine, that season of Beans joining them. King Nidhogg or splash away, but Evelyn's just gonna follow him underneath the turret, almost landing that kill onto him. Seraphine landing the only onto Ionia, but good flash wish away gets them out. So many huge cooldowns used there, but nobody actually died.
Nobody did, but this tower is very close to getting knocked down as well. And Ionia going out for the Jinx. They have to force a flash.
Yes, he's forced flash away. Ionia doesn't have the ult to get away anymore, but they still have the Soraka. So much healing. Ionia is still alive. Oh, but the Mantra Q takes them down. Finally, that is a 150 shutdown picked up by Shy Girl. Paragon taken very low there. Force flash away. Gotta respect that Seraphine damage. This is a full AP Seraphine.
Oh yeah, and it's not even the shutdown, it's also the Dark Seal stacks that have been denied from 4 to 0. So things are going to slow down for this Evelynn. I love how they turned it around. Great knowledge there from Kissies, knowing that not having the Agony's Embrace, the Evelynn is not going to kill you just now. With just the Qs and E's, no, it's not going to happen. So knowing that full well, to be fair, was close because Boy was really clutch on those heals, but still not enough. As we know, the Karma can really come in with packs of damage in the early game.
Riftel dropped in the mid lane. Effortless is not going to be able to do a whole lot other than just bring her friends here to join the mid lane. Ionia popping the charm, but not going to be able to actually land the charm quite yet.
Oh.
Wow, Season Elite has just been blown up on my screen. Okay, see you later. Xerxo TPing in only to run straight back to top lane. Unfortunately, a little bit of a wasted TP there, but I think the comms were definitely there. TP, 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 TP. Okay, I'll TP. And then it's just late.
Yeah. That's a mood. And the more I look at the Warriors composition now, the more I like it. Because you have Cassante knocking people up into the air for the Yasuo ulti. You have the protection granted by Soraka. Now, they have guaranteed the second Drake of the game. It will be an ocean buff. And with that, they really get into a very solid mid game. You can leave the Aphelios even farming alone. That is fine. They can do it. Oh, King. Oh,
okay.
Geez.
Oh, wow. Yep. There's the Windwolf. Talked about that in the draft as well. Effortless is trying to just dash away. Now, how far can she run?
Oh.
But he's from bot lane. Shoot him down from bot lane is the answer. All right. Get some extra kill. Get some extra gold even onto your Jinx. All right.
Going really well, and considering we have Paragon there, and oh my god, going on so many heals. They have to flash away, but it's not enough. Yum.
Okay, well, yeah, Ionia is still a little bit fed on the still definitely can't walk up too far with them there. Tower plates just fell, but I do want to talk about how the bot lane for the Warriors did get 4 tower plates completely onto Paragon and Boy shared.
Yeah.
So that is a lot of extra gold, and with that gold, I guess they're just gonna 2v2 them now. All right, there's another double kill for Paragon, just casually. Nidhogg arriving down to the bot lane, but it is a 1v1. Boy does not have enough HP to actually use any heals onto Paragon. Root lands onto Nidhogg. There is the silence onto him as well, and he's in melee range.
God.
He's in the death lethal zone of the Defelios, and he's gonna be forced to just dash away and give it up on that. Oh no.
Oh, they were trying to snipe it again.
Oh, it hit him. It hit
Wait,
him,
did it
but
hit?
it didn't. It hit Defelios.
Oh, it was... Okay, but it was just not enough HP to take them down. They were still full health. And it's funny because I was going to mention that the Jinx was playing super well. Kissy's there, managing to do so much damage onto Paragon and Boy, because that will take the Soraka down on HP. You dodge her Qs, then she doesn't get her HP back. And we saw as well, oh my god, Gorilla going so low here in the top lane.
Gorilla doesn't have Flash. Reminder only has Ghost, and even that is on cooldown. He's able to fight out for a very long time, but there's Seraphino encore onto 2, and you are just gonna go down, Boy, as well. Burn the heal for that as well. That is a pretty important cooldown burn by your support, and that is 2 more quick kills found for the solo lanes of 5 seasons. They have a 4,000 gold deficit for them now. Also, objective bounties on the board very early into this game, so it is a very scary rest of this game to try and play out 4 or 5 seasons. And you have the scaling AD carry. Kissy's okay. I was gonna say that is a very legal play if Ionia did kill Kissy's. I was so very worried that was actually gonna be an upload kill.
It could have been, but then Kissy's had exhaust, so it was fine. So
Thank goodness.
I think it's a good choice because instead of going for something like a cleanse, then you go for the exhaust, and even if she does get the charm on you, she's not going to deal enough damage, so I think that's pretty great. So yeah, overall, my points just summarized was that I felt Kissy's was doing super well in that bot lane, but then Warriors just really got to handle so much damage onto the tower. They could take the defenses away from them and guarantee the kills, but then King Nidhogg coming out for the support there was huge, because you need to try to shut down Paragon now on 3-0-0 for 450 gold on their head and around a 50 CS lead.
Yeah, the solo lanes this game weren't the winning factors so far for Warriors, right? All the kills are split evenly between Ionia and Paragon, and then there's just that extra one for Effortlessness in the mid lane. But like you just said, so if it's gonna be Ionia and Paragon, the ones to carry this game for the Warriors, if that is the direction that they are able to take it. Ionia and Effortlessness showing their faces here in the bot lane. Nidhogg's gonna try and save his top laner. Xerxes just fighting forward. Rocket goes wide, TP coming in from Season of Leaves here as well, but fight's mostly over already. It's just one more TP burned by the Warriors, and again, the macro plays have always been going in their favor here.
Yeah, it's been a little slow, a little behind. Less than 30 seconds here for the next Drake to spawn, and it's going to be a Cloud Soul. So whenever we see those teams getting one of these buffs, the movement speed is going to be good. It's not as essential as other Drake Souls, but it's still going to be very good, especially when you can't see the Evelynn. She's going to be roaming the map like crazy.
Riptail dropped in the mid lane. Effortlessness forced to flash away on the bottom of your screen there. Riptail is not actually going to get to hit the tower. Encore goes wide. Ionia forced to use the ult to get away. On the top side, you do see Windwall being dropped, but nothing to be hit.
Whoa.
Massive ult coming out from the Aphelios, but it's not enough damage to actually take anyone down. On the top side here, it's a triple kill for Paragon. Nidhogg trying to just run away, but can you run away from the quadra kill by Paragon? It's 5-0. It's so well done by Warriors, cleaning up the seasons.
Wiped out 5 seasons and not seeing another year, because they have been completely decimated. 3 dragons their advantage, 4 warriors, so many of those towers. A lot of the platings really taken down by Aphelios there in the bot lane, by Gorilla Jones in the top lane. So not even having a Baron buff. Look at how this Aphelios demolishes the tier 2 mid lane. Oh god.
In a little bit of a 1-1 here with Shy Girl. You see Xerxo behind him as well. That's actually a double TP from both of the solo lanes. Gorilla Jones might be caught out. So is Effortlessness. They just left her to die. Wow. Okay. a little bit of a sacrifice there at
Kinda
the
sad.
mid later. A little bit sad. Baron spawns up in 30 seconds. Gorilla Jones still is under fire. Seraphine ult extended, but not far enough to the enemy team. Objective bounty still available for 5 seasons, and they're looking to claim the first one on this mid tower.
That's good enough as they can get right now. They are keeping the differential on 4K. Oh my god, getting so much damage here on Gorilla Jones. Are they gonna go down?
So low, but Nidhogg is behind them. Nidhogg found the Paragon, but he's still alive. He still has the Soraka healing. How is Paragon alive? Okay, he does go legendary, but does finally end up going down. That is a massive 700 shutdown picked up for Zerg, so they're still running down the Warriors here. Gorilla Jones still alive, still fighting underneath the turret. Finally ends up going down. Boy has 1 HP left. Can't heal anyone as the Soraka. Effortless. The sacrifice just a minute ago is here to clear the wave and save the tower for the Warriors.
Oh, did you see? Oh, Kisses was trying to predict the recall timer. She aimed at the base to try to get the Soraka as she spawned, but it was like a half a second late. That was very clever. I love doing that as Jinx. Nobody expects the hidden super mega death rocket, but then it really just hits you in the face. And so does the Evelyn, that at this point has started to stagnate a little bit, right? We have seen the growth really coming in, but now the kill participation is not coming through as much. We saw a quadra-kill, incredible fight for Warriors in that Drake, but then 5 seasons still has some potential to try to come back with mid-game pushes, with those team fights with Encore, especially around the Seraphine, and then getting the Jax in the backline.
Nidhogg finds Effortless with the Q, but definitely doesn't want to go in onto all 5 members on his own yet. Some very aggressive Baron positioning here. You see both teams fighting to get this mid-wave prio first. You definitely can't make any plays towards the Baron when your mid lane towers are so exposed. And in fact, the objective bounties are still up for the 5 seasons. There's only 4,000 gold down, which honestly isn't that much considering how close all of these team fights have been, right? Like, if they were down, or if they were up any more, then they may just be in the constant advantage for these team fights. Also have 2 minutes left on the Cloud Soul for the Warriors or so. Stun connects, but it's only onto a wind wall. Here comes Karma EW. What is it? No, RE even. Seraphine ult lands onto no one. Wow, that was close. Ionia. Watch the flank for both Ionia as well as Gorilla Jones in your backline. Do they know that the jungler plus top lane are here? And I don't think they do. They don't have Seraphine ult to try and pull the bag. Xerxo is already gone. Warriors picking up 1. The Baron is alive right now, but they aren't even looking at the Baron. They're just trying to chase him down the mid lane.
Yeah, they are. And that was such a good defensive ulti from Ionia. There was an instant exhaust coming from Cassis, but the ulti was so well timed. They got the invisibility frame just enough time to get them alive, and they're gonna stop Baron. I hope that's a bait because I don't know if this is
Ionia's not there. Kisses might be caught out here. Ionia is an Evelyn, but can't actually one-shot the AD carry yet. In fact, it's a shutdown picked up for Kisses. Now you got a team fight without your most important jungler. Season Elise, good flash away. Nidhogg as well, flashing into the chicken pit. TP coming in now from Zerk, so he's just respawned and he's back and ready to fight. Lands double stun immediately. Jinx ult goes wide. He's not able to rejoin the fight. Gorilla Jones just trying to run away. You can't even try to re-engage. In fact, you only go down. Seraphine ult lands on a Paragon. He's able to flash away, but just for a second, he finds 1. He's still fighting belly rage into the team. Shutdown picked up now for Zerg, so fighting underneath their turrets. It's a 3-for-1, I believe, so far in this fight, and 5 seasons are taking a massive gold swing in their favor.
That was incredible for 5 seasons, noticing that because Ionia has stagnated a bit, has hit a plateau in that damage, the Jinx is going to outscale. The Jinx is just going to really get the damage done if she can't be assassinated. And that was the case. They went in, there wasn't enough damage to take out the AD carry of 5 seasons, and because of that, they paid it with their lives. I also appreciate a lot the TPs that came through on this fight, Capcom, because it felt like it was steadily pushing Warriors away. And with every TP, they were getting the enemies closer to that tower, but it was fine because it was buying time for the Encore to come back. And we saw the fight starting with an Encore that whiffed into the timer coming back and an Encore that hits everyone and saves the fight.
And Season Leaves isn't even level 16 yet, so this is not the rank 3 Encore. That is how low the cooldown already is for a 2-item Seraphine. I also really liked that fight for 5 seasons, and it was so crucial to win because that was the soul fight. It didn't feel like a soul fight because it was just in the mid lane, but it was a soul fight, and now 5 seasons have claimed 5 more minutes of time for themselves to continue getting the Jinx and the Seraphine scaling up permanently. Ionia fishing for some sort of pick here. Still a very fed Evelynn, but it's only going to get harder to play this Evelynn throughout the game. At no point in the game is Evelynn a very easy champion to play unless you are super duper hyper fed, which at this point Ionia is fed, but not super duper hyper fed.
Yeah, it's not getting close anymore, and unfortunately we have been seeing the Agony's Embrace coming defensively from Ionia many times, and you gotta consider that whenever you're going in, you really need to be certain that you're gonna take a last hit there on the enemies, so you don't have to use your ulti defensively. But at this point in the game, Ionia just cannot go by herself. Going into the backline, trying to assassinate someone and leave, that doesn't happen anymore. It's not enough damage for the Evelynn to execute them, so they have to be aware of it so they don't have to waste resources, protobell, flash, ulti, every single thing on the team fights, so that whenever they actually have a team fight that starts, the Evelynn can be a little more sneaky, come from the backline with the flank, and then really make things happen.
Xerxo does have a ward to jump, just in case. They may need to, but doesn't actually need to use it here quite yet. Baron is going to be a very scary objective to fight over for both of these teams. You've seen these teams take every single team fight so far in the mid lane with open ground. I think Cassante is fighting right now. Oh, no, never mind. Okay. I was watching the map and I was like, is Cassandra better now? Nope, okay, I guess not. But yeah, both of these teams have been taking fights exclusively in open ground in the mid lane, and then they win the fight and then transition that into the Baron or the Herald or whatever the fight is actually over, right? Neither of these teams actually want to fight in closed grounds around the pits. So once again, trying to collapse onto Gorilla Jones in the top lane. He has popped that Ghost to run away, has ult available for him as well. If he wants to continue this fight, TP joining in from Effortlessness. They do want to try and win this. Wish has been popped as well. Ionia driving for the bot river. Redemption coming in as well to get some extra HP up for Gorilla Jones. So they're trying to run away, but they can't run away for very long. Encore goes wide again. And again, nobody goes down.
Can you believe that yet another fight, there's so many resources get used, especially just around Baron? Is that good enough? Okay, they're gonna start Warriors doing the damage onto Baron, but I don't know if that's the wisest choice.
Baron started up by Warriors, but you're right. It has to be Paragon doing a majority of that damage, and he isn't really here. Seraphine comes up in not enough time right now. And Nidhogg was just one shot. He is sent back to the fountain for 40 seconds, and now it's a real Baron angle for the Warriors.
Definitely is numbers advantage for Warriors. No jungler on the enemy side to be seen, but there's still so much potential for this side here. Gorilla Jones might be down.
Gorilla Jones was just one shot. Windmill is up, but it's only in the pit. Massive super mega death rocket there by Kisses, and there is the encore double kill picked up for Zerg. So now we can finally get the Baron, but this time it's going to be the 5 seasons picking it up.
That was massive. Paragon trying to get something happening here around the pit. But I don't know if you can do much. Shy Girl is looking at you. And Zozo is not gonna allow anything to happen. Still very close, going over the wall.
Oh my gosh.
Paragon might be paying it with their lives.
Oh my gosh, Paragon, yeah, just goes down as well. And that is the clean 5-0 ace for the 5 seasons. They have brought the gold lead entirely back. Now it is actually 1,000 gold up in their favor, and another 5-minute dragon stacking to prevent the Warriors claiming this Cloud Soul as their own. Everything has been come about for the seasons after Season Leaves and Kisses have hit these important item power spikes.
Yeah, not just the items, but also the moment where they use their ultis, I think has been very crucial.
Yes.
So the Encores are connecting now, which we have been seeing so many of them whiffing. So whenever they hit, it's a win for them in the team fight. So a lot of it really goes around the Seraphine. And the damage for Kisses, you mentioned that the items having completed the Lord Dominic's is going to be burning through a lot of any armor that comes around with Cassante. And even though there is so much going around the Seraphine, Kisses has been such a super highlight for me, because when Zozo is on the backline taking Paragon away from the fight, the Jinx is just really super protected, super on the defensive point. She doesn't even have to expose herself to deal damage, and it's really working on every single opportunity.
The reason this Evelyn was picked in the draft at all, I'm guessing it was to one-shot Kisses and Season Leaves. And the fact that Ionia hasn't really been able to do that before any of these fights shows how well Kisses and Season Leaves have been grouping, have been dodging, have been getting away from Ionia in time to not be one-shot. Exactly like Xerxo was right there, right? Where Xerxo is tanky enough that you know Ionia is not going to be one-shotting them anytime soon. So the fact that Ionia still has to burn important cooldowns, such as the Flash, for trying to get those not as important picks, means again, Season Leaves and Kisses, they are so hard to kill.
And it's such a risky choice as well, because you have to go around the Seraphine shields, the healing, the shields from the Karma as well. So how are you going to really take them down? And unfortunately for the Warriors, that big lead they had with the 4-stack Dark Seal Evelyn on 10 minutes of the game, it's not there anymore.
Dark Seal was sold. Ionia working towards the death cap now instead. It's a very difficult item to get fully online as an Evelyn. These charms have constantly been going down, but none have really fully been connected here by Ionia. Xerxo always looking for the poke, looking for the pressure on the side lanes. And the Baron does run out actually in 15 seconds. That was a really strong 4-1 by the 5 Seasons to just get pressure on the mid and bot wave. They were finally able to break into the inner turret line, and now knocking on the doors of those inhibitors. We have 3 minutes still remaining on this next dragon. 5 Seasons are looking up to tie the dragon score now.
They are, and I appreciate as well from 5 Seasons trying to get something done here on the tier 3 line, trying to get the Encore. As soon as it doesn't hit, okay, we're dipping. We're not going to be here.
Yeah.
We're not going to try to fight without our main weapon. So just try to get the waves pushed, clear out the jungle, wait for the 2 minutes for the next Drake. As you said, it's a soul point for the Warriors, so you want to deny that as soon as you can, because there's still enough time between that and the Baron to spawn for you to try to prioritize one instead of the other.
Dragon up in 1:45. Like you said, Baron up in 2:15, so you don't have to choose. But I do think most teams would probably still go for that Dragon first, especially the 5 Seasons want to buy. I've been saying buy these 5 minutes. They've been getting a lot of these 5-minute tickets, 2 in a row now. Getting extra time before a potential Elder fight. If the Warriors got either of those 2 last dragons, Xerxo could be caught out here. You see Boy and Ionia chasing them down. Root and Silence are very crucial to land onto the Jax, but does unfortunately burn Ionia's ult for that win there as well. It is a level 17 Evelyn though, so it is a pretty short cooldown. Oh, Effortless just, I mean, blown up in the top lane.
Oh, it's a base rush!
Push. It's a base race right now. Xerxo is a 25% HP Jax. They cannot clear this wave in time. Stun lands on the 4. The team has arrived, but are they in time to actually clear this wave? 4 members are attacking your Nexus. It's almost dead, and that just might be game. The Warriors have claimed the game over 5 Seasons in a base race.
I heard production on my ears, back to face, and I'm like, this is my face. This is my face cam.
Okay.
When I saw it was gonna be a base race Camcom, I was like, okay, this is a moment where every team can tilt right? They see that and they don't know, should we continue? Do we have more attack speed? Do we have more damage? It's a Jinx versus an Aphelios, both of them very equal in regards to pushing out those turrets. And then they hesitated a little bit. You saw there was a little bit of time on the recalls. So when they got back, the commitment coming from the red team really finished everything off. They knew what they were going for, and they totally executed.
I loved how that whole game was so focused around 5v5 fights, and the way that they won it was a backdoor race. That is not what I was expecting. I think we do have some replays to remind ourselves of what happened that game as well. I would love to see the replay of whatever the heck just happened there. I myself had like 2 seconds to react to it, so I can't imagine what the players were thinking.
Right? Like, how do you react to it? It's so hard. And you would expect for the split push on a backdoor coming out from the Jax, and instead it comes through your front door with the Yasuo, with the Cassante, and especially Paragon on the Aphelios. So this is the moment where we saw things coming back around for the blue team. So 5 seasons got things a little more stable, were winning team fights, getting aces, got a quadra kill, really got onto the back line to shut down Paragon. But at the end of the day, as you said, it wasn't a team fight that won them the game.
No, it wasn't. It's still so funny to me, right? Like, that whole game, yes, the Warriors had the goal lead for the majority of the game, so is it surprising that they won? Maybe not, but 5 seasons, they won a lot of team fights that they definitely shouldn't have if you were only looking at the gold. 5 seasons were in a lot of commanding positions, a lot of really solid, like, macro plays, communication. Like, clearly these 5 players are super talented, and again, they do still get one more chance to qualify for SGGP. The God's Atheist Warriors, the Warriors, they have qualified. They will now be facing Serenity in our best of 3 grand finals today for a chance at that extra money immediately into your pockets. But that's all we've got for right now. We've got a best of 3 finals coming to you in just a couple of minutes. So don't go anywhere. Grab your popcorn if you're going anywhere. We've got an extra best of 3 for you.
I play for me. I play for fun. I play for real. I play for friends and Friday nights. We play for all. This is a new age of play. Play your way.
This all-new Aria is an elegant EV.
Yeah, with 389 horsepower. And all-wheel drive.
It's beautiful.
It's a beast
It's electric.
with an edge.
Oh, let's go with that.
I had wings put on my chest, I told myself, I'm proud of you. Something I would tell my younger self as a woman or as a minority in the aviation career field, hard stuff is going to happen. Don't let that stop you. Keep your vision in sight and just know that in the Air Force, there are people who are rooting for you, whether they look like you or not.
This all-new Aria is an elegant EV.
Yeah, with 389 horsepower. And all-wheel drive.
It's beautiful.
It's a beast
It's electric.
with an edge.
Oh, let's go with that.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Superhero Gamer Pro broadcast. Once again, I'm Camcom, joined by Sofchin. Here today, we have made it to finals. Finals, the only best of 3 of today will be this series here. We've got Serenity taking on God's Epiest Warriors.
Yes, you know how I feel about that. You know how I feel about that. Are there any other God's Epiest Warriors around there? Because I am one. And to be fair, I feel like the nerves of steel from this last semis Camcom was insane from the Warriors.
That was a very crazy end to a game. I don't remember the last time I've casted a base race, honestly. Like... It's so rare to get them, especially in comp games, that it's like, no, they just don't happen. So the fact that we got one today, I'm very happy that I got to cast it. Very happy that you got to cast it with me. But let's take the quick reminder on where we are in the bracket right now. We are, of course, in finals, but there is still a, what is it called, third place match going on at the same time right now as well.
Yeah, and as soon as we have the result for that, we are, of course, gonna let you know. This was a big run, right? What a Saturday. Serenity getting those fights against Eccentric 5 and Astro Cats getting themselves onto the finals. And God's Epiest Soldiers, they won against Glacial Academy on Waters and just now on semis against 5 Seasons. And it was a very competitive game on both of these semis, wasn't it?
It was. Both of the semifinal best of ones were really unique in their own way, where there was like a pretty good showing from one of the teams in the first 12-15 minutes, right? Like 5 Cs or God's Epiest Warriors definitely had a very strong early game. Serenity as well in their one game that we have seen from them each so far. But Astro Cats and 5 Seasons, they both almost came back, right? Like we had 2 almost comeback games in a row, and then at this point, I've forgotten what happened in the Ash Cats game because the 5 Seasons game erased it from my brain.
You don't have no backup file.
What happened? What
gone.
happened? Did they get like wiped on a dragon? Is that what happened?
I forgot as well.
Okay, see, I'm not crazy. You made me feel bad. You can't remember either.
I think the problem is that it was just so emblematic that we had a base rush that just happened.
No, literally.
With 2 teams, right? Like with 2 teams that was so close in the match, with almost having a turnaround comeback, that it just really makes the other game not feel as interesting. But I feel like it was a case. The Serenity was ahead. Astro Cats was almost getting a turnaround, and I think we saw at the end of the day the 4 Drakes getting stacked, and then the game was over. I think that's what it was.
Okay, yeah. See, I was pretty close to that one. Anyways, yeah. So Astro Cats and 5 Seasons again are not entirely out. They will face off against each other now in one final best of 1. Whoever wins that best of 1 will then be the 3rd place finisher for today, and also gets to move on to the final bracket tomorrow. Our final best of 3 that we're gonna watch here right now between Serenity and the Warriors will be whoever gets the bye. They have both qualified. It is just a battle for the bye in the final best of 3 we are ready for... I thought it was draft. Nope, I heard wrong. It's actually, we're looking at the bracket here again. How does the bracket work? Tell me so.
So for yesterday and for today, we have had so far 16 team single elimination bracket. So everything so far has been best of one, for the only exception being this grand finals that we're going to be watching right now, and the top 3 teams qualified. So the 2 teams qualified right now, they are already in for tomorrow championship, but it's going to be the first place who decides whoever's going to get a bye, as you mentioned, and of course the other match that's going to be off screen for the third place collocation. How about championships, Camcom?
For championships, second and third place teams from today and yesterday will face off in one or best of one. And then we will have a semifinals best of 3. Both of those will be streamed. And then also the finals best of 3 also be streamed. So we'll have 3 best of 3s on the stream tomorrow. Will be hopefully a very long and very exciting day to crown our final winner for the prize pool of... I don't mean to spoil it, but we've seen it a couple times now. 2,500 is the first place prize pool, so there you go.
That 1,250 for the second place. So as we said, both teams that are in the grand finals already in for tomorrow, but they're not exactly in for the prize yet. We need to know who's going to get their first place. And of course, the 2 teams that are fighting now, they're going to see if they're going to go for championships. And third and fourth place get the $625 each.
$625 each guaranteed as well if you win this best of 3, but definitely can get more if you win that future best of 3 and of the finals as well. But let's take a quick look at the rosters that we will have facing off against each other here in the finals best of 3. Once again, it is Serenity versus Gods, Epiest Warriors. My favorite team here, Serenity, yes, of course, will be Dragoon once again in the top lane, Shapeshift as your jungler, Messages in the mid lane, and Yuichi and Helosia down in the bot lane.
As for God's EPS Warriors, we got Gorilla Jones in the top lane, Iona as your jungler, Effortlessness, oh I did that one right, good job me, in the mid lane, Paragon as your ADC, with Boy in the support.
Absolutely. I am very excited to see these 2 teams face off against each other, specifically in the early game, because they both kind of picked similar bot lane styles of hyperscaling AD carry plus enchanter support. But then it was so skirmish heavy for both games in the early game, and both of these teams kind of dominated the early game. I'm excited to see which can do it better against each other now.
Yeah, and to be fair, I don't know if we're going to be seeing any Evelyns for the Warriors this time around because of exactly what you said. If we know the Serenity is super good at controlling early game, then you really don't want to give any chance for your Evelyn not to grow. And we saw the Evelyn growing, but she wasn't the big factor for winning the game at the end of the day for the Warriors. So it would be a little bit of a toying cost. Some high risk, high rewards that I don't know if you want to risk it, but it's not a best of 1, it's a best of 3, so you kind of have some time to risk it if you want to.
It is definitely not as much do or die as best of 1s are. Best of 1s are make everything so much more important than it usually ever is in League of Legends, right? Like, it even comes down to, like, draft side could be the deciding factor in a best of 1. Like, side select, who gets the first champion, who has blue side versus red side, who gets that first dragon, like all of these things that usually in a grand scheme of things of a best of 3 don't have a super important, like, side select in a game 1 of a best of 3 doesn't usually impact the game that much, but side select game 1 of a best of 1 definitely does. So I do prefer best of 3s definitely a lot more, but we are almost ready to head into draft here. So who do you think is going to get banned?
Banned. Okay, I think we might be having a big focus onto that top lane. We saw Cassante doing super great today. And at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of those hyper carries in the bot lane to be banned. So the Aphelios, the Jinx, and you don't even have to focus on anything in for the support, because I would say it really depends more on what the ADC is to see what's the support going to be. And I am sure that we're going to find out it pretty soon with draft almost on your screen. Camcom is the first best of 3 of the day.
First best of 3 of the day and last series of the day here as well. Once again, Serenity being the higher seed. They were actually coming into today as the first seed, so they will have side select, obviously. Say it's once again were based entirely off of their current solo queue ranks. So the Serenity players just simply had higher solo queue ranks, but that definitely does not mean that they do not have the most experience of the day. The Warriors are here to make sure they are not maintaining their first seed for too long. Vladimir is definitely not a champion I would have predicted being banned.
Neither is the Karthus, to be fair. That is pretty different. I think the Talia makes a little more sense, and differently from what I suggested, the focus is going to be on the Enchanter supports rather than on the ADCs. Just the same for the Rel, that can be their flex for jungle and support. So we finish out this first round of bans with a little bit of the same, but also a lot of different things.
I was going to say, if we're just going to be picking, meta right here, I think J4, it was Maokai, Jinx and Aphelios are also still available on the table, so I definitely see Warriors picking one or the other here. Nope. I could not be more wrong. Instead, they're going to be locking in. This is the same comp that they just played, right? Like, it is the Tryndamere. Wait, no, who played Tryndamere? It was Messages actually on the Tryndamere. So maybe they're trying to take the Tryndamere away from Messages instead. And Ionia will be on the Evelynn again. I was given confirmation that Ionia does have a second account with Evelynn games on it, but it's only 4 games and it's only 1 win out of 4 games. So, I mean, I guess Ionia is just good at Evelynn.
I think that means a lot of trust in your team. A lot of communication that has been built so far that we saw happening, especially with that base rush. So that makes quite a lot of sense to me. Having this Darius confirmed makes sense that the Tryndamere is going to be in the mid lane again, but instead of Messages is going to be Effortlessness who have it. And I actually really like the Azir on the hands of Messages as well, as we finish out the round of bans with solely supports.
Yeah, I'm impressed there were no supports even picked in the first round of picks. It was only the solo lanes plus the junglers, and now we do have the blind Kalista locked in. Ashe definitely being the best AD carry to play into the Kalista because of how the slow W, slow Q, slow passive works for Yumichi's Ashe, and how that just impacts Kalista's passive, of course. Looking probably towards, I would say, Enchanters as your support. Renata is a super comfortable pick here for Heloisia. Soraka and Seraphine being banned away make this a little bit harder to play against as well. I would... who do I think is going to get picked? Or I was thinking Alistar in my head, but I don't
yes,
know
I was going to say exactly that. I think Alistar makes the most sense. Because you can protect Paragon with a Kalista. You can as well be in Kalista. You can throw the Alistar, and it's actually a great play. So I think, if anything, okay, that's nothing like an Alistar. But we really kept on Enchanters today, having the Janna being the last pick for God's EPS Warriors. What do you think of that?
I'm gonna check the OP right now and see what the Janna experience is that we're looking at. Because usually when I see a Janna picked by support, it's like this is my main champion and I just know that it works in this matchup kind of thing. So I'm gonna double check and see if that's true.
Are we looking at a Kalista throwing the Janna doing insect with the ult? Is that what this is about?
That would be something.
That would definitely be something. Just watching the...
I got bad news.
Wait, are they main? Or are they just complete opposite?
Boys' account here I'm looking at has 21 solo queue games this split so far on Janna. 38% win rate. That is not as good. Not as good as it could have been. Soraka is up there. Soraka 300 games, 52%. Or 55%, sorry, win rate for boys. So that is definitely why they were playing a whole lot of Soraka.
Gosh, and playing it so well as well. So let's see if the Janna is going to perform just as great as he did. The focus on supports was absolutely insane on those bans. We had Nautilus, we had the Soraka, and all of those things that work so well that we have seen from The Warriors really just falling to the ground a little bit. You still have the Evelyn, but I don't know. We had the Evelyn doing so great, getting the 4 stacks on the Dark Seal, and then all of a sudden just not being as impactful, like, at all. I think the Java is best.
This is a very similar team comp to what they drafted last game. It's just the main switch is Aphelios for Callista, right? Aphelios being a very late game hypercarry, Callista being the exact opposite of that. And the fact that nothing else changed around that means I think Paragon is going to have a pretty difficult time on this Callista because this draft was not built for a Callista. It was built for an Aphelios, and now we've kind of slotted in a Callista instead and said, all right, let's see what happens if we play for early game bot lane instead. So let's see how well that goes for the Warriors here in game number 1 of the finals, best of 3. This bot lane in general is going to be super impactful throughout the whole map, I definitely think. Paragon and Boy, though, they're going to have to win it super hard.
Yeah, and I would say as well, for Dragoon and Gorilla Jones in the top lane, this matchup is one of the oldest matchups, like Renekton versus Nasus. Renekton versus Darius is just a matchup as old as time. So I feel like these two are going to have a wonderful time by themselves. That doesn't need to be any big pressure from Shapeshift. If they want to do so, absolutely, yes. But personally, I would go for something in the bot lane because you want to try to deny the little bit of leeway that Paragon is going to have in the early game because of the base stats on Callista. So you can enable Yumichi to just get those Berserker Greaves very fast and just be able to auto attack the Callista down every single time so she can't jump around and she becomes basically immobile. I think that would be a great call.
This is also a very low range team. Generally, only, what is it? Kind of like, Callista is one of the shortest range AD carries in the game, and Janna is not very much a damage dealer, so she might as well be melee, honestly. And such a low oh my god, such a low range damage team.
There you go.
It's very, very difficult to play against these control type champions such as the Renata ult, the Azira ult, super long range, Ashe, the longest range champion in the game, right? We are ready for Summoner's Rift though. I heard, maybe.
Yeah, we were looking for Summoner's Rift to be on the screen. There we are. Serenity on the blue side with God's EPS Warriors on the red. So Warriors on the same side they were in the previous match.
Yep, and now in the best of 3 format here as well. Very fun to see more Seal Expression, I would definitely say, in a best of 3 than there is in a best of 5. Paragon immediately going to be punished for walking up at all in this bot lane. Flash might just be expended. No, not even a flash. It's just a first blood picked up for Yumichi 50 seconds into this game 1.
That's pretty quick. That's as quick as Rocket League, I would say. That's intense. But I really like it because you want to try to take down this bot lane as fast as you can so you impact overall the gold distribution so that you have a harder time being the Tryndamere, you have a harder time pushing the wave because Ionia is going to have to try to help the bot lane or Gorilla Jones even more. But from Paragon, I like they didn't use their summoner spells. It was a kill. It's fine. It was going to be a kill. Okay. Anyway.
Yumichi, with that first blood kill, has picked up boots with that. I actually really like that first pickup by because you can definitely assume Ionia is going to be bot lane a lot. If you watched last game, Ionia plays almost like a perma-ganking type of Evelyn, especially once you hit that level 6. You don't have to farm as much at that point. You just got to get some kills. And that's kind of just how these assassin junglers work. Dragoon has gotten 0 CS, and so has Gorilla. They have literally just stood here and autoed each other.
They're just accumulating the waves. Did you see that? Both 2 waves accumulated there in the top lane. Yeah. Oh,
who needs waves when you can auto each other?
Basically just slapping each other in the face. But here in the mid lane, things are looking a little different because being a Azir, all messages you really want to be. Oh my god, the flash forwards! What? How do you even shapeshift looking for the mid lane, Kimcom?
He is 2 CS, but it doesn't matter. He got a kill. Shapeshift gank in the mid lane here as well. What is happening? Effortlessness is going to be forced to pop for Ghost here. Only a level 2 Tryndamere. Leave her alone. Oh my gosh. Hopefully has E. Nope, she doesn't even have E. All right, there we go. We're good? Maybe? Yep. All right, cool.
I thought it was gonna be another kill. Oh, feeling so sad from the Tryndamere if they didn't have the dash. That would have been sad.
I know, I was like,
just
does she
waiting
even have
in
a
the
pointed
pit
E
for the
yet? Like-
slow death. What a day! But Capcom, this bot lane is really playing how they should. Serenity's not allowing Kalista to do a single thing.
Oh
The
my
flash!
gosh. Oh my gosh, the Vash plus Cleanse Burn there by Paragon. I mean, Yumichi's just playing this lane literally perfectly right now. It is so unplayable for the Kalista, and that is why you pick the Ashe. This is easily the best 80 carry counter pick into the blind pick Kalista. And Yumichi's definitely showing them why you do not get to play Kalista.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I'm also thinking about the fact that you have Janna at your side. Are you going to choose to link with Janna? I don't know if it is already linked, and I don't know if I
think
can
it is
spot
linked,
it.
yeah.
So being linked with the Janna, she's fragile. She's very, very fragile. She can have a lot of shield, but she's not gonna have that until she really stacks onto level 3, level 4 on that shield. And so far, Serenity's abusing of the spot lane.
Shapeshift coming here mid lane again. Effortlessness does have E and Flash, and Ghost is going to be coming up again in a minute or two. But meanwhile, bot lane, Paragon picking up a kill somehow onto Loisia. Yumichi pictures for a double kill, looking for almost a triple. Continue kiting. You have your jungler here. Knock up lands. Ionia flashing forward. They can't get enough damage onto Yumichi. Yumichi 1 or 2 more autos. Not going to be in time for a triple kill, but Shapeshift still there to finish the kill off. Meanwhile, up there, the top lane, Gorilla with the solo kill on a Dragoon. In the mid lane as well, Flash to Flash traded, fighting in all 3 lanes at the same time. What is happening?
It's mad. This is madness. Incredible to see that all 3 lanes were being active. We had that bot lane gank coming out with Ionia, but first, let's get a double kill. Being Yumichi, Isia going here in the mid lane, trying to get some annoyance onto the Tryndamere, to getting them away from the wave while the TP is on the tower. Very well done, because you can have that sort of rotation. And even though the Ashe is alone on the 2v1, she's fine. She really is fine.
Yumichi showing a lot of confidence here on the Ashe, as you definitely should on this type of champion, but as a player, through Game Changers, didn't get to see her play like that nearly as often. Dragoon ganked up near the top lane. Ionia doesn't have Flash to follow up, so I don't necessarily think it'll be a kill, but meanwhile, down there on the bot lane, Shapeshift lets everything onto Paragon, traded for a kill on the top lane. It's just everything happening, man. I said it's an early game versus early game team. This absolutely is playing out like it is. But yeah, Yumichi, through the first couple of weeks of Game Changers, didn't get to play these super confident, super aggressive type of champions. And I love that over the past, just today and yesterday, right, she has been able to play more confidently through the improvement of herself and her team around her. Love seeing that for her, as well as Alosia.
Definitely, and this bot lane is working amazing. With so many enchanters out of the board, the Renata is great for this composition, especially if you can use your hostile takeover as soon as you see Ionia on the fight. Then she's just really not going to do anything at all. So composition for Serenity, even though they are being super aggressive in the early game, they really have big priority for the mid game, because God's DPS soldiers really look like split pushing, especially with the Tryndamere. But I don't think they have as much support as they did in the last time with the Soraka.
Not as much. That Soraka definitely had a massive impact on both the games that Warriors got to play it so far today. I think absolutely it will be permabanned against them, if not in just the series, but the series tomorrow for them as well. I do not see Boy getting that Soraka again anytime soon, especially since she got to play it on stream. Everyone got to see how strongly she was able to play it on stream. It will be banned almost certainly in the future. This top lane has neutralized, I would say, a little bit since level 1, and as they said, of course, they just immediately start fighting each other again. So never mind, my bad.
Yeah. Interesting though that Ionia is so ahead on CS and really going in for these games.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
My God.
That's clean. And that Dark Seal is now up to 3, Capcom.
Dragoon even tried to flash, but Dragoon he flashed
Nope.
into.
Didn't think that was enough damage.
Into the whatever it's called. Not demonic embrace. Something else.
Angst.
An effortlessness
anger.
kill. That's what it's called.
I forgot. Chaotic
I swear
vibes,
it's
chaotic.
called like Last Caress or something.
Hold
Am I
on.
crazy?
I got it open. Agonies.
Okay.
There you go. I knew it started with an A.
Thank you.
Oh, the dive
Oh,
again
messages,
with
messages.
Tryndamere.
Messages. He's just dead. All right. See you later, messages.
Goodbye. Gonna leave you on red.
Effortlessness just ran him down, man. Beneath the double towers, Effortlessness living with 1 HP. Shapeshift. I mean, just showing her face in the mid lane, not a whole lot she can really do. Just trying to stop the back. Good cleanse there by Paragon with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Tornado lands onto Michi. This is a little bit of a dangerous fight within melee range. She has W, but Chozo.
Holy moly.
Just about able to get the last auto in time for the resurrect. That was close.
That was so close, and the handshake would have saved them, but the cooldown was already off, like it had already finished. So that wasn't the trigger from that shield there for the Renatic Flask, but still it was enough. Probably have the Triumph on for the runes, and they got themselves saved with that kill on Paragon. And leaving the enemy ADC with 1-4-1, that is definitely the place where you want to be. And coming back again, Capcom, to what I mentioned, how is Ionia really on 66 yes compared to 49 for Serenity's Jarvan on Shapeshift? The Evelyn really felt like it was falling behind, but it's not.
Yeah, it's really not. Ionia once again somehow playing this early game Evelyn that I just do not understand. How it is played this well. Serenity has the pings, has the prio even for this first dragon, and Shapeshift dashing over the scuttle line means that warriors don't actually have vision on this dragon. You see Boy actually roaming the top side. Dragoon might just be dead in the top lane right now. Yep.
Wow.
Execute plus the passive easily picks up that solo kill for Gorilla.
Have roaming support here in the mid lane. Boy is just trying to scout around the area, help out effortlessness, because Serenity has just finished the first Drake of the game with a 5-minute delay there on 10 minutes of this game, while top lane is being decimated by Gorilla.
Starting to look like a CV Lul first dragon timer here.
Yes! We take a while. We take a while in Brazil. We take our time. We have some tea and biscuits, and we take our time.
Time over there, yes. Ionia potentially showing their face here in the mid lane, but I mean, it is so difficult to gank either of these champions, right? Like both the Tryndamere and the Azir have so many ways to run away that are not just a flash or a ghost, right? So that much more difficult to actually land anything here in the mid lane. So instead, just bring Boy the top lane. You know what? We're losing bot
What
lane.
is going on?
Send the Boy away. I don't know what's happening in the bot lane, but you know, they have said, all right, you can have the bot lane. We're just gonna go take the Herald instead.
Yeah, they were just harassing Shapeshift going on between the two turrets here in the bot side to harass Paragon. You're not going to farm anything, and I'm still impressed at how much Paragon has been able to farm so far. Only 16, 17 CS behind, but Serenity really gained a lot of gold just from those platings, almost taking down the turret by itself. Jarvan is looking for that Tryndamere in the mid lane.
Looking for the Tryndamere. Meanwhile, down in the bot lane, that was an 11-minute, I think like 45-second first dragon without a Rift Herald even dropped. Gorilla looking to trade for the top lane here, but Evelyn going in for the kill. I guess they got it. Yep, they did get it.
There you go. And we're reaching a moment. Oh my god, again! They get the last hit, but the Undying Rage is still there. And the Azir and Tryndamere are going to survive.
Ionia, a little bit on the wrong side of Summoner's Rift right now, forced to use the something caress, can never remember the name of it, and somehow lives. Shapeshift could not connect on the kill. Will not have to try and trade it out with The Renata next to her, not going to be in time. In fact, trading out the top laner here as well. Shutdown picked up by Heloisia. Very nicely done.
Super nicely, and to be fair, overextending for Ionia to be so far here in the jungle for the enemy side. You have taken one turret in the top side. Chill out. You haven't taken down all tier 1s. You haven't really opened that much advantage in your control of the map to be so bold like that. So having that presence coming back, the Cataclysm, although it was very close to actually surviving. Oh, bot lane!
Oh, yeah, Mess just dies there every single day of the week. So, as hard as the bot lane won for Serenity, the top lane won equally as hard for the Warriors. So this is definitely still a very close and even game. First Rift Shell drops down here in the bot lane. This is still before Tower Plates fell. I know for me, this feels like it's 20 minutes in the game right now, but we are still pre-14 minutes. So First Rift Shell giving some extra plates to the very behind AD carry of Paragon. I very much like that play here for the Warriors. Looks like EQ not going to hit anyone from Shapeshift. Looking to set up here for Dragon numero 2.
And numero dos. Chemcom, I think that was such a clever play. You leave the Herald, you get Callista getting all of the gold solo from those platings. It just went down. 14 minutes has just happened, to be fair. From the moment that the Herald went down, it felt like it had already been like 2 more minutes. These teams are playing so active. There's so much action around the map that the game feels like it lasts so much longer, but it's not the case. We have just arrived. The plating's down and the Crystal Arrow lands from downtown.
Crystal Arrow lands all the way from the fountain. That is the maximum stun duration onto Gorilla Jones. He's trying to fight it out the 1v2, but I mean, there's only so much you can do. Shapeshift easily able to pick up that kill for herself there. But this top lane is the, I guess, vacuum of gold right now that Serenity is trying to just put some sort of band-aid on. Ionia could be caught out here. Whoa. This is a massive shutdown. Doesn't have the Dark Seal anymore. I don't know when they sold that, but I mean, a 300 shutdown is still very dangerous. You do not want to be given over that to Yumichi.
It feels like they sold the Dark Seal to get the Proto Belt. That would be a possible situation. You have a shield going onto the tower trying to defend it, but there's a lot of damage that's going to rain from the Ashe, especially because she has finished the Kraken Slayer. She's on 4, 1, and 4. So big focus for the Warriors to shut down the ADC.
And this next Dragon is just as good as Serenity's. The Warriors, they can try and contest it, but Ionia has no flash, no ult, and no way to really get into the pit without sacrificing their life to trade it for the Dragon. And at this point in the game, especially with a shutdown, that is definitely not worth to do. Warriors looking to try and position, maybe try to fight it, but the Dragon is already taken. Here comes the Renata lands on all 4 members. Shapeshift not going to be able to get into Cataclysm. The massive Cyclone coming out from Boy. They are able to get them off the Dragon as well. So crucial. Renata was the first member to fall, and so far the only member to fall. Ionia still has no way to run away, though. Has to fight in it. That is the 300 shutdown. That is a lot of gold funneled straight into Yumichi's pocket. Arrow does land, but lands only onto Gorilla Jones. There's the Shurima shuffle, and there is the damage finally coming out for Serenity. You're fighting straight into the waiting arms of Paragon. Double kill, triple kill coming out for Yumichi. No, it's a quadra kill. What? Serenity have it in the bag. They have the ace, and they'll finally take the Dragon on top of it all.
What a fantastic engage from Messages. They got the Shurima shuffle, got the pull in for the team, managed to take down Paragon from the edge of a fight into the middle of the scuffle, and the Ashe now is just really doing so much work. The W is dealing quite a lot of damage, although it's not going to be the main force of damage because she's going to rely heavily on those auto attacks. It's still so great, and especially that hostile takeover that you mentioned for the Renata Glass, hitting all 4 members. That is huge. Really disenabling every single player that wasn't a team fight on the side of the Warriors. Really got everything set up for Serenity to win the fight and take down their Drake.
This entire game right now is set up for Yumichi to find success. She got a quadra kill in that last game, or that last team fight, right? Because Helosia and Messages were able to perfectly set it up for her. So we need to give just as much credit to them as we do to the person that actually gets the last hit on the kills. Ionia very caught out, really nice crystal arrow, predicts the R, doesn't matter where you go, you are dead either way. Serenity have come to play today. They were not able to make it to semifinals yesterday. Now they're here today dominating finals on day 2 of qualifiers.
So close. Chemcom with another hero being popped here. It's going to be tier 1 top lane taken down by Serenity as they even try to push a little further. Double buff here onto Shapeshift. We'll see if this is going to be another commit. Azir is just shattering around.
Felicity and Boy are the 2 members sent to protect this turret. You see Paragon making his way up here as well, but not going to be in time to protect that turret. And I always say those inner turrets on the side lanes are never worth dying over. I hate every single time when I watch teams try to fight it when behind. It's so impossible to fight around those turrets. You just die for it every time, and it's never worth.
It really is, and it's very sad as well because it's a point where you have to decide, like the base rush, are you going to try to defend or are you going to try to push forward, try to get some advantage or leeway on another side of the map? Ionia really advanced again, meets the big Renekton on the bush and the crystal arrow to almost hit her, and another kill onto Warriors jungler.
Warriors jungler, yes, having to, once again, I mean, Ionia played Evelynn so well last game. Both of these games, I said, very difficult for Evelynn to play in just because it's Evelynn. This is not a very meta champion right now, and junglers, similar to that of AD carries right there, it's usually like a very small, like less than 5 champion pool of meta junglers, and if you play outside of that, it is so much harder to find those wins. Ionia did last game, but this game it is going to be a much more uphill battle. Gorilla Jones forced to ghost away, but does ghost straight towards Shapeshift as well as Messages. I mean, they just set up like a what is it, like a waiting line. Like you fight one person, then the next person, then the next person.
Yeah. That's like a house of horrors.
It's an assembly line to kill Gorilla Jones. Somehow I made it out. I don't know.
Well, it was all the summoner spells used. You have a cleanse coming out from the Kalista too, whilst the fight engages
really
from the
good
backline
tornado.
Dragoon.
Really good tornado there on Shapeshift, canceling out the EQ from her Dragoon. Just trying to fight forward. Again, good Cyclone from Boy, but there's only so much you can do. Berserk lands onto Gorilla, but it only makes him run away. He has no more sums to continue this chase, though. Yumichi dash in. She is diving underneath your inhibitor turret. This is an Ashe going legendary underneath your inhibitor.
11, 1, and 5, 700 gold on the head of this Ashe. The posters are all over Summoner's Rift. Take her down. Big bounty for Serenity's ADC. But so far, the Warriors haven't found any place whatsoever to get into the backline. And to be fair, Chemcom, I would say that every single time they try to go into a fight, that they started it themselves, it didn't work quite as well. So I would say that maybe they have to use the Jenna Morris peel, maybe they have to use the mental games that you have within Evelynn, using your abilities, being just right at the edge of the fight to try to get some aggro.
Not again. Look how long Gorilla Jones was stunned there. Like, that is the 4.5 second max range stun that you get with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. It's so funny. You just sit there like, well, I guess I take my hands off my keyboard, unplug my keyboard, put it away, done for the day. That's my League of Legends that I like to play. Ionia also very much caught out here. You cannot even walk out of your tower vision line at this point. Everywhere you walk, you have blindfold on your face. Nothing you can do to fight against Serenity at this point. 3-0 on Dragons. The Gold League does not speak nearly to the volumes that I think Serenity are ahead right now.
Agreed. And having both teams coming out to this game so aggressive in the early game feels like what made the big difference was the draft, because having the Jarvan instead of the Evelynn, it really is making a big difference. One objective bounty got in here, but is it going to be a Baron in exchange? It is.
effortlessness. Forced to burn, the Undying range there does, like you said though, pick up that inner turret to give extra low gold as well as the ejected baddie. So it is a nice mini gold injection to the Warriors. But at this point, gold is not going to matter nearly as much as how well can you teamfight Serenity. And Serenity really have teamfighting in the bag right now. They have done it so clean every single time so far in this 22-minute game.
Getting into a stage where 4,000 gold ahead definitely doesn't speak as much as this team is ahead. The amount of towers, the amount of heralds they had, the 3 drakes, and how much they have been able to push around. We have been speaking about potential split pushes, especially with the Tryndamere, but gosh, can messages deal damage to turrets? Especially alongside the Ashe. So both of them are just really going to do siege all day whenever they have this Baron close to a tower. So at this moment we see messages in the bot lane and 3, now 4 people here in the mid lane for the big push. Tier 2 has been destroyed.
Warriors did win their semifinals best of 1 from a backdoor, basically, right? Like a base race backdoor, whatever you want to call it. That is how they won their last game. Yes, they had a gold lead when that happened either way, but if that's how they won last game, that's kind of how they're going to have to win this game too. You just mentioned effortlessness is a huge split push threat. Really nice messages though. I mean, what do you do against this comp right here? Berserk lands on 2-2. One member has already fallen. Dragoon is in your backline. What can you do? Paragon only waiting to be put right into the Cataclysm. Yubichi has still legendary. Yubichi is taking everyone down. 1 inhibitor gone. This might just be the game, so
That shot looks like it. The first game of a best of 3 in the Saturday. Close to taking down the Nexus, and Capcom Serenity gets the first kill, the first blood of our grand finals qualifying for tomorrow. Looking very solid.
that was just so well executed on all 5 fronts there for Serenity. I'm so happy to see how much success this team is having today, as well as hopefully Astrocats, hopefully winning their 3rd place match there as well. I think Serenity plus Astrocats and Ice Kittens, all 3 of those teams playing against each other tomorrow, will be a super fun winners bracket to see. I think we do have hopefully some replays from that game as well. Yes, we do. Let's take a look again at how Serenity were able to dominantly take this game 1 of the finals best of 3.
Big pressure from both sides. Capcom really made things difficult for us to decide who was going to be on top and who was actually on the lead. Gold was very even, and then these things happened. We had a quadra kill for the Ashe. Yumichi was really growing and growing and growing in an unbalanced scale that you really can't do anything, especially when you are Kalista, especially when your jungler is an Evelynn. So the draft wasn't really helping as much as it was on the previous game for the Warriors, and the Serenity squad really took advantage of it. We have here on the screen them taking down that Nexus, and at the end of the day, I think Yumichi finished as, I don't know, 12, 13, and 1. Insane.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, that was insane from Serenity, and especially the bot lane from Yumichi and Helosia there as well. I was just notified 3rd place winner has been decided, 1 selected, whatever you want to say. The best of 1 has concluded, and it was 5 seasons that took the win there. So Astrocats have been officially knocked out. 5 seasons will be the final team qualifying. So we do have the final winners bracket. All 6 teams, we know who they are now. We are just in the final best of 3 to decide who is the first seed, who will have that bye going into the first round tomorrow. We have 1 more, I guess 2 more games, potentially 1 more game if Serenity take the next one as well. We'll be going to a quick break before we head to game number 2 of the best of 3.
This all-new Aria is an elegant EV.
Yeah, with 389 horsepower. And all-wheel drive.
It's beautiful.
It's a beast
It's electric.
with an edge.
Oh, let's go with that.
I play for me. I play play for fun. I play for real. I play for friends and Friday nights. We play for all. This is a new age of play. Play your way.
not very many Latina women go in the military as an officer, but I always had that desire to serve my country, and that is why I chose Air Force. The advice I would give to somebody who doesn't think that they could be an aviator, you can. You just have to decide to take another step forward, and then another one, and then another one, and then it gets easier. Don't underestimate yourself. You did this, and you could do more.
This all-new Aria is an elegant EV.
Yeah, with 389 horsepower. And all-wheel drive.
It's beautiful.
It's a beast
It's electric.
with an edge.
Oh, let's go with that.
I play for me. I play for fun. I play for real. I play for friends and Friday nights. We play for all. This is a new age of play. Play your way.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Supergirl Gamer Pro broadcast. Again, I'm Camcom. That's Soph Chan over there casting with me today. Thank you for being here dealing with me today. We're in the finals
a
again.
pleasure,
This is the best of
Camcom.
3. Serenity took game 1.
Serenity took game 1, but they didn't just take game 1. They demolished, devastated, burned it down, swept
Wow.
the floor with everyone on the side of Warriors. And it wasn't because they weren't doing great in the early game. Hell, we saw the Evelyn doing great on both this game and the previous on the semifinals. But at the end of the day, when you have an Ashe onto a Callista, a Jarvan onto an Evelyn, and an Azir to round up the composition too, Serenity really had that game plan absolutely laid out for them.
And we did also get the full game screenshot from the game third place match. That's what it's called. That one, yes. And it looks like it was a 33-minute game, pretty even overall in terms of everything other than top lane. It looks like Zerg's, the top laner 4 or 5 seasons. 11-11, 37,000 most damage in the game as a Jax. Kind of just popped off 1v9 a little bit. Everyone else across, like, all 9 other players are pretty much even across the board. Mermina on the Malphite as well. I love seeing Mermina play Malphite. But I guess, like, her KDA isn't even that bad. 738 as Malphite is not that bad. It's just a Jax, I guess. Apparently 1v9 that game's super hard. And that's what qualified 5 seasons into the tournament. So there you go.
Massive. Then we saw those two teams playing today, and all of them so far were just so great competitively speaking, and to think that it was a competitive game as well for the third place and that it was super close on 33 minutes. That is huge. Really goes to show that the competition has raised its levels. Everything is just looking much more experienced, qualified, and seasoned with competitive overall. So jumping into our second game of our best of 3, the final game to put Serenity on the first place for tomorrow, or if this is going to be a game 3 for the Warriors, bringing it back onto a tie.
Absolutely. So, just as a breakdown once again for the championship bracket tomorrow, it is a 6-team best of 1, round 1. Yep, here we go. All right, this is the bracket for today, but I'm talking about the bracket for tomorrow. Best of 1 for round 1. That is the second versus third seed cross days. And then semifinals, best of 3, first seed versus the winner of obviously the round 1 matchups. And then the finals, best of 3 once again. So the first seed from yesterday was TFT Gamer Hours. Second seed from yesterday was Ius Kittens, which does have plenty of GCU players on it. And then the third team was Band Seraphine. We've seen Seraphine play now today. Seraphine was a pretty helpful champion. I think it was Warriors. Was it Warriors or 5 seasons that played Seraphine?
Oh, 5 seasons. 5 seasons.
5 seasons. Even then, I still think 5 seasons, the Seraphine had a pretty massive impact for them, right? Season of Leaves, that's the person who played it. Yep, so I think Seraphine is going to be a super, super important pick for them tomorrow. And the 3 teams that qualified from us today's qualifiers was, of course, Serenity, Warriors fighting it out for who is first and second seed, and, of course, 5 seasons as the 3rd seed for us today. So that will be your bracket for you tomorrow. But we have at least 1 more game if Serenity win it, 2 more games if Warriors win this one and the next one as well. We are almost, I believe, actually ready for a draft now. Or not.
Getting
Nope,
everything
I've been lied to.
ready. We're getting it underway. It's okay. It's fine. And I think it's so interesting as well that we have the 3rd place match here. It's nice that when we see the 2 teams that don't make it into the grand finals, they still have a chance. They're not out of the competition yet. There is another best of 1, and especially as I mentioned, being so competitive, going on to 33 minutes, really makes you feel a little sour for Astro Cats for not making, and definitely for any other team yesterday as well that got super close but didn't quite make it. So things are getting spicy because, as you said, it's potentially the last one as we get that draft underway, Camcom.
Yep, yesterday it was the Pixel Queens that lost that 3rd place match. Today it is Astro Cats that lose that 3rd place match. So both of them were just on the cusp of qualifying for tomorrow's championship bracket, but just not close enough. I think both of those games were in the realm of like 30 to 35 minutes, both super close, back and forth. And again, just that one best of 1 decides it all for whether you qualify or not. We have remained on the same sides. Warriors, with the loss in game 1, did select red side this game again. So for them, they're saying draft was not the problem. Side select was not the problem. We're actually opting to stay on the same side, and I'm interested to see if they pick similar champions here as well.
So far, Serenity going for the same bands. And on the side of EPS Warriors, looking a little different with that Oriana coming through. And the first pick being the Gwen for Serenity. Gwen is just so good for late game. She really melts down HP bars. So Gorilla Jones might be the one going on that Darius. Once again, we saw those picks being very well done by Gorilla Jones in the top side, but things kind of derailing in the mid game. Again, the Tryndamere is confirmed, and a Jax coming through. Is this going to be a Gwen jungle?
That would be fun. I don't know what's happening. Maybe Messages plays Gwen in the mid lane. Either way, I think Jax and Gwen could probably be flexed all 3 roles potentially on the top side. It is an Ornn locked in now as well, so I really have no idea what's happening. All 3 of the champions can play all 3 of those top side roles. So, and Nevlin has been locked in once again. So yeah, I'm thinking Warriors and especially Ione are saying these champions are not the problem. So far, they've picked the same exact 3 champions. They're saying, all right, we made some misplays in the early game. Hopefully, we'll work out better in this game too, because now it's all on the line. You got to win this game to even have a shot for that first place title.
Things looked a little different now with a Vayne and a Seraphine picked by Serenity as their last bands, and the 2 confirmed for God's EPS Warriors were the Nautilus and Rakan. So a lot on that bot lane, but this time I was thinking maybe it was gonna be the bot lane that changed a little bit. Darius, Tryndamere, and Evelynn remain, but the ADC is going to be different. So instead of that Kalista, we have an Aphelios getting countered by Yumichi on an Ashe. Again, to be fair, she was just so dominant on it, I really don't mind it.
I'm actually surprised it was left unbanned, honestly. It definitely was picked a little bit just for a vacuum counter against the Kalista. I am very glad they swapped from the Kalista back to the Aphelios. Paragon looked super, super strong on the Aphelios in the semifinals game that they did win with Paragon on the Aphelios, but the bot lane will remain identical here for Serenity in this game number 2. I'm interested to see. Janna is left unbanned, but I'm not sure if they're going to opt to play it that Janna again. Soraka is banned, Seraphine is banned. Maybe, honestly, Sona is not too terrible here.
I sorry, I might be a Sona hater. I think I just realized that while I was thinking. I might be a Sona hater.
Damn, just
I think she just
hate her. It's fine.
I just feel like she has too little HP. If they balance her out and she doesn't feel as squishy as she is, then I'm gonna like her more because she's very versatile. But I prefer the Karma. I think there's a lot more damage potential and a lot more peel potential coming from this pick. And there's also more that you can do being a Karma to try to help mid lane, whoever that might be, because we're still trying to understand what are the stakes here. No, actually, this is the team that has the same one, so Darius top, the Tryndamere mid, but it's Serenity that we're looking at to trying to understand where Gwen, Jax, and Owen go.
Yeah, I'm wondering the same thing. All three of these champions are kind of a 33% chance on where they're going. As I think we're ready to see where these Oh, nope, never mind. I am very deaf today. I'm so sorry. I thought we were gonna go see where they're going. I'm gonna make a prediction. My prediction is gonna be Ornn top. I'm gonna say Jax jungle Gwen mid. That's what I'm gonna say.
I think there's a lot of values to that. I'm kind of feeling that it might be okay. I think on top is yes,
I think
but
definitely
I would
on top.
say yeah. But because I have been seeing Gwen jungle here in Brazil quite a lot, I would say Gwen jungle Jax mid, which is very unconventional, but I think that could be a case.
Who's the jungle? Is it Croc that plays it? I forgot who plays it.
Oh no, I'm actually thinking about the women's scene. So it's
never
quite a
mind
lot
then.
of Gwens that it's quite a lot of those top lane flex jungle picks that goes onto Gwen that really pop off. So I don't know if this is going to be the case, but at the end of the
We get to see now.
We get to see now, and who
does it
wins?
go?
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Gwen
Oh
jungle.
man, we all lost.
Ornn mid.
We all lost.
Well, all right. You know what? At least it's not like a Karma mid Tryndamere support or something. That would have really caught us off guard.
Oh my god, I hated Tryndamere support when I was in solo queue, like back in the day. Jesus, that was disgusting.
It's so annoying to play against. It
really
really is.
is.
Especially
like,
as
oh,
an enchanter.
chicken
It's
out.
like, what do you do against that champion, man? Nah, it's okay.
Awful.
Messages on the Ornn, though. This is a very, very different champion. That's why I thought for sure it was going to be Jargon playing the Ornn than what we've seen from Messages. He has been exclusively playing these mages mid lane, right? Now he's on a tank. He's on an engage. And a melee champion as well on top of that, which is so different. So I'm curious why they decided to opt for the Ornn here for him.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the same page. I can't quite see, but to be fair, that just might be some of those compositions that Serenity has been practicing recently that we are not aware of, and it's supposed to be that one Joker card out of your deck to say, yeah, we can really flex into things and we can really adapt to anything you bring our way. And it's not because the players are on the specific champions that they couldn't swap lanes either. So we'll see how that's gonna fare. And I would say that the Jax versus the Darius makes more sense. I think that's the way to go.
We are now ready for game number 2 of our finals best of 3. Serenity, one of our LCS Game Changers teams, taking on God's EPS Warriors. The Warriors must win this game and the next game to advance to the first place seed. Serenity only need to win one of the two. I've had a fantastic time casting this game, or casting this team specifically today, because I got to see all the ups, all the downs of them throughout Game Changers, where they were 3rd seed the entirety of Game Changers, and all 3 teams in Game Changers were so close the entire time of the tournament, and even in their final best of 3, it went the full 3 games. And now I get to see them almost winning the bracket. This is already higher than 3rd seed. They've already secured themselves a 1st or 2nd seed for today, and that is immediate improvement, but the players as well have all individually improved themselves so much. Full 5-point start from both of these teams, though. Messages notably only starting with some pods.
Yeah, look at that. You got the refill, so expecting to go back soon, get that first item, potentially even better than you would with a Doran shield. So we'll see what that's going to lead. But Capcom, it just really shows how the Warriors have come to shine in Supergirl Gamer Pro, because Serenity, as you said, grew so much, have developed their skills, and they are facing one of the LCS Game Changers third seed and still doing well. Like, the previous game was much more controlled by Serenity, but the Warriors have been showing quite a lot of skill.
Absolutely. From the 2 games that we've seen from the Warriors so far, their semifinals and the game 1 of this finals, we got to see, I always like to have all 5 players show off something good about their own individual gameplay, and I think we've definitely seen that so far from out of the 2 games from the Warriors here today. A little bit of aggressive trading we saw there in bot lane level 1 and 2. I think Yumichi and Helosia should definitely win the first couple levels here because of the range advantage, but level 6 is where that bot lane should start to get more interesting.
Pushing out quite heavily, Serenity on the top, at the bottom, in the mid lane, things a little more balanced for effortlessness and messages. But we have to keep an eye on where the junglers are, right? And we have an early reset for Warriors Ionia, so Evelyn is not going for a full clear, whereas the Gwen is top lane, is aggressive as hell.
Gorilla dashing in onto Dragoon. The passive is taken down. The passive is what kills him. All right, just the casual 1v1 first bloody kill for Gorilla Jones, level 3 on the Darius.
Very good done and executed by Warriors, because we saw Serenity really dominating the early game. They want to try to show some pressure themselves, especially because bot lane is not looking as great. And here it goes again.
Knight dropped onto Paragon, will be forced to flash away. Yumichi flashing onto the turret as well, and he's still alive. Yumichi has that Knight taking down on her as well. Boy,
look at the
up
damage.
A little bit far forward. Everyone is sitting here with 1 HP. Ionia will be the first jungler to show their face down near the ball. Flash Q forward, my boy, but it's still no. It's gonna be the Comet that takes down Yumichi.
No way, coming out from the skies, Karma takes that kill into their own hands, and Serenity, that was trying to prove how aggressive and expert they can be on those early games, that it really came down to a counter from Warriors, especially that one flash and cleanse in particular from Paragon, super well executed.
Cleansing the Knight there is definitely the most important one to cleanse at this point in the game. Stun does not land onto Gorilla Jones, but Shapeshift is here. Has the Ghost popped for her as well, but not quite enough damage. Only level 4 right now on the Gwen. Gorilla Jones should be perfectly fine here. Haven't seen a whole lot of the mid lane here this game. Messages. Ooh. Okay, Messages is just dead. Never mind.
Yeah. it's what you can do as a Tryndamere. Oh, what an annoying champion this is. And he's not even level 6. And we got a flash under the tower. Forcing out the TP from Messages. That comes back to lane now. And top lane being aggressive is always, especially when you have Ionia coming around. And a pause comes to our screen as we try to absorb what has been happening so far in these 4.45 minutes of the game.
Warriors coming back with a vengeance so far in this game at number 2. The game 1 early game did not go super well for them, and this game 2 so far definitely has. They're starting this game up 3-0 on kills, and we've seen micro outplays on literally all 3 lanes in the first 5 minutes of this game so far for them.
You really have, and I think it really goes to show how they said it's not the draft, that's not the problem. Maybe it's just an attitude, maybe it's just the strategy that they went for that was sound in the early skirmishes and then just started to derail a bit. So now they feel more focused. It feels like every single play has been more thought through, and they are executing to their best ability. So what you just mentioned, the micro really is showing in the gameplay for Warriors, and Serenity must be like, okay, we're not gonna stump you like we did last time. So there's some things that we need to think through as well.
I mean, to be fair to Serenity, there is literally 0 early game for them built into this comp, right? They have Jax, Gwen, Ornn, Ashe, Renata. Tell me where their early game is in those 5 champions, right? Like, this is a super, like, team fight. We're gonna team fight you guys at 2 items, and we do nothing before then as a team comp, right? So, they just need to stop the bleeding. If it's still 0-3, 20 minutes, Serenity will be super happy. Don't give up every single dragon, but at the same time, you can't really fight for these dragons yet before you get those item power spikes for all your champions.
Yeah. And it looks like we have game ready on our screen as well as we jump back after this pause. I totally agree with you, Camcom, and it's funny that we saw the bot lane for Serenity being so aggressive and actually giving out 1 kill for Warriors when, yeah, they don't have early game. They don't have early game at all.
Really don't.
So, yeah. So the only thing that would have any sort of early game would be kills happening in the top side, but the Darius does take the upper hand. So, yeah, no, I don't see it.
Alright, I gotta talk to Ione after the series. What is it with the Darkseal Evelynn start all 3 games and then like selling the Darkseal even if you're ahead? What is with this? I do not understand this play. Messages with the first gank into the top lane. Alright, Ornn mid lane ganking your Jax. Gets a kill on the Darius. Didn't have that on my bingo card for this series.
That was definitely not on my bingo cards. And Evelynn is going for the 1v2 as well.
She's popped the Ghost, looking to chase down Dragoon. Only a level 5 Jax. Holding onto his flash though for now, but can't get the flash off in time. Effortless just diving them underneath their tier 1 turret. But Shapeshift shows up in time to snip Effortless's knife away.
Yeah. Can you imagine just getting into a bush and just being absolutely delacerated? Very funny. Definitely not for them, but a little funny for us to see. And speaking of seeing, it's on our map that Ione is starting the first Drake, so somewhat of a lead in objectives that Warriors is trying to get. And what are you doing here? Oh, they swapped lanes. So Tryndamere has gone top lane while Gorilla Jones, as the Darius, is helping Evelynn take down this first Drake. I think this is a very clever choice.
Yeah, I definitely don't think Gorilla Jones should stick around in the mid lane as like the regular mid laner from now on, but I do like that Effortlessness made her way to the top lane to get some extra CS, get some extra pressure up there, because the mid lane, I mean, it's going fine for Effortlessness. She's winning the lane against the Ornn. Ornn, as a champion, doesn't need gold. His experience is his gold, and that is all Messages really needs at this point in the game. As much as he can stay within 10 CS of his lane opponent, that's about as best as you could possibly hope for as an Ornn.
Yeah, and we're getting into almost level 6 for both of these bot laners, but not quite yet. They're just waiting for those last minions to hit. And whenever that does happen, Gwen is around.
Waiting in the bushes down there, the bot lane is Shapeshift. Paragon has the red-white guns right now, queued under the turret. Ignite taking down on him now, trying to get the last autos, has so much healing, but Yumichi with the Renata W on her head gets the revive. Ignite is still taken down, but with the 6 doesn't even matter. Lands the point blank crystal air. Shapeshift as well coming in. They're gonna get that kill really nice over to Shapeshift as well, popping that needlework to secure the kill 100% in Serenity's favor. The gold has come in completely even. The only thing ahead for Warriors now is the 1 dragon. Oh, meanwhile up here in the top lane, Messages is ganking yet again. Ornn is back underneath your turret, knocked up everything, lands. Ignite is taken down, and Dragoon picks up another kill now on the Gorilla Jones.
Very well done. I think that's what you mentioned, Serenity. Oh, yeah, only going to get to the top lane. Dragoon don't land that charm, so he's not going to go any forward. But, oh, okay. Evelynn is, they're looking for it.
She has arrived. Ionia as well. They're looking to do something here to the solo lanes of Serenity. Boy hasn't even walked all the way up from bot lane. Messages gonna be able to flash under the turret, and that's a lot of time wasted by the Warriors just to get 1 flash from Messages.
Resources are being scattered around by the Warriors at this point, and Serenity is taking notes of it. So going on to Paragon, forcing out that flash, and maybe even take a kill if Paragon is stubborn enough to stay, because Shapeshift is on the bushes once again.
Yeah, watch Boy's pathing here as well. I was gonna say, a Boy walks through their jungle, they are definitely gonna get snipped by Shapeshift. Shapeshift is turning your attention away from the blue buff towards The Karma waiting right there for her. Dragoon, meanwhile, gets another kill onto Effortlessness. Arrow lands. There is nothing that Paragon can do. He has no support from his team anymore. Yumichi just here to shut him out of the game. Boy and Gorilla Jones arriving to the bot lane, walking underneath the turret, but Yumichi and Heloisia walking out of this perfectly fine.
Walking around the map has been a constant routine from all of the sides, bot lane, jungler, of course jungler, but support, even the top and mid lane switching sides, and no, Boy has to flash away. The hustle takeover is going to be wasted. But another resource that warriors have to use when they don't really have vision, so they're getting themselves into the situations, but on their own.
Gorilla Jones look for a 1v1 in mid lane here against Messages. I thought that would turn to a little bit more, but not quite enough. And what was previously a 3-0 lead for the Warriors has now almost doubled in the favor of Serenity. One more kill and they would be double the number that Warriors have right now, I think. Oh, I thought Effortlessness was soloing the Rift Shield right now, but I guess not. I do expect that Rift Shield to probably be stealing away here by Serenity. It doesn't look like Warriors are necessarily in a great position to be fighting anytime soon. Paragon really needs to have Flash available for any sort of team fight.
Yeah, and being that 1,500 gold there for Warriors behind really is hurting them, especially because we have seen Ionium having so much pressure on this Evelynn in the early game, even more than we would expect from an Evelynn, but she's not at this point. And the Gwen on 2 kills, everyone on the side of Serenity having some sort of participation, whereas Warriors are just collecting deaths to their name.
Absolutely, they've collected a whole lot more deaths than kills to their name in the past 6 or so minutes. But contrary to last game, there's been a whole lot less plates picked up by either of the teams, really. I think we had a tower taken in both of the last games. At this point, Shapeshift could be caught out, but Gwen is immune. Knockup lands by the Ornhorn as well. Messages still walking forward. Effortlessness ult finally ran out. She's going to be forced to run away. Arrow lands, and it lands right onto Gorilla Jones. He cannot do anything about the arrow coming up from bot lane, and Yumichi doesn't even have to be there to get extra KP.
Yeah, and that's what we have seen so far for Serenity. A lot of coordination globally, especially because of Yumichi on the Ashe. OT goes in. Do they flash away? No, they didn't even flash away, but Ghost is popped.
Alosia just, I mean, super hard forcing. She's watching these cooldowns, watching like, all right, Paragon, no ult, no cleanse. All right, flash in, we land these. And she did, just unfortunately does not have the damage to actually connect on any of these kills. Messages is now diving Effortlessness under her tier 2 turret, just casually.
Just casually. There are plenty of platings on the board, but might as well just do proxy, might as well just do some diving, and Effortlessness really falling behind. But we know that the Tryndamere really wants to be ahead on the CS, as they are. They really want to be ahead on some sort of golden XP to try to do split pushing, so it's okay if they're not as greatly ahead. But things are falling behind on other lanes as well, which is the most difficult for Warriors. So having Darius 1 and 3, having Paragon being absolutely obliterated in this ball lane by every attempt that Yumichi does with Heloisia on those dives, things are looking dire, and we're not even on 14 minutes.
Exactly. Remember, at 5 minutes during the pause, I said Serenity would be happy if they were 0-3 or even at the 20-minute mark. And now they are so far ahead, 3,000 gold ahead. Does not speak to how far ahead this team actually is, because they outscale almost on all 5 fronts. I think the only place they might get outscaled is an 80 carry, but Yumichi herself is just scaling all the way. Shapeshift go into the W. Messages doesn't have a whole lot of mana to actually make anything happen here, and they're happy to just walk it out. I mean, that is the best case scenario for Serenity, and that is what they're able to take every single time.
Platings were taken, Herald was there, and with that, they guarantee split gold for both the jungler and the mid laner, so that is absolutely fine. With another turret, actually the first one being taken down, but with another siege happening from Serenity on the top lane, with Jax performing as well as it wants to be. 5-2-1 with around 30 CS ahead on their opponent top laner. Things are getting into a super stable place for Serenity to grow into the 20-minute mark.
Exactly right. The objective control by Serenity, even when they were behind in the first 5 or so minutes of this game, right, has been what has secured them every single win here today. Even yesterday, no teams went undefeated completely. We had a Game 3 finals, so everyone lost at least one game, but Serenity, they're on track to be the first undefeated team here in SGGP 2023. They are playing these games today so well, so cleanly, leaving no room for mistakes or punishes by any opponent team, really.
And to be fair, they are the ones who are punishing those enemies' mistakes, looking for every opportunity, and Dragoon actually might be taken down on this one.
I don't think so. Dragoon wins these. He's got a 400 shutdown. Gorilla Jones is going to pop that ghost to try and chase him down, but look, they don't even have the gap closed. In fact, it's Dragoon that jumps back into them. He pops the ult and he goes and stealthily is killing both of them. He gets the double kill. I believed. I was a believer. You were a doubter.
Not anymore, not anymore. I am definitely a believer
good.
now. The 1v2 Dragoon Jax is absolutely online. They have the first completed item, looking for the next one as messages, dances, and uses our lovely Diana and Leona emotes in the bot lane while they take down that tier 3. And everything is exposed on that first line of turrets on the side of Warriors Capcom.
Yeah, all 3 of those outer turrets taken before 16 minutes. Even Dragoon doesn't have a whole lot of mana to fight this, but if he kills Ionia, that's a free blue buff. There you go. Goes God like, hey, I have mana now with the blue buff. Look at that.
Exactly. And I don't think they can even do anything about it. They use chicken, they get the fear, but they might just die for it. Oh, this is immoral.
She does have the undying rage, so she is going to at least try to take them down, but what can you do anymore? Shapeshift. Oh, the needlework misses. All right, effortlessness. Oh, never mind. She's not going to get to live.
No, they really just have everyone on the side of Warriors at the palm of their hands. We saw Dragoon just being there like, okay, I'm just going to escape here. I'm not going to take you down. That's my gift to you. You don't kill me, I don't kill you. And then they're like, well, yeah, we're actually going to kill you. It's fine. Gorilla Jones might be found in a very bad place now, Gamcom.
Yeah, this is the wrong side of Summoner's Rift for you, my friend. Doesn't even get a chance to do anything there. Messages TP in. Ornhorn does not land. Good flash away from that one by Paragon. But here comes Dragoon. Here comes the unkillable Jax. You cannot do anything about this man, boy. Underneath her turret, run away with just 1 HP. Ionia trying to re-engage there on the messages. He's in with real low HP, but Berserk lands on to everyone. Still, Web Warriors trying to re-engage, but there just is simply no damage to take anyone down. Dragoon still legendary, almost a 5-0 ace, taken away 4 members. Serenity so happy about that one.
Serenity executing team fights like it's taking candy from a child. They know exactly what to do, and Warriors are unfortunately falling behind in reaction time. They are falling behind in damage, they're falling behind in XP and in gold. Now around 9,000 gold behind Warriors. We could see Paragon in a good position, Capcom, to try to fight that. They were fighting, they were dealing damage, but it just wasn't enough damage. They were in a good position to auto-attack. The connections with the guns were landing, but it wasn't just not itching.
I'm gonna check right now what happened to Serenity yesterday. Oh,
right?
You know what happened to Serenity? They lost round 2 to Ayu's Kittens. That's what happened. That makes sense. Okay, so yeah, I remember that game as well. That was like one of the 40-minute games of the day. Like, that was a really clean game. And guess what? Ayu's Kittens took the finals to game 3 and finals as well. So, like, Serenity is definitely up there with Ayuskins, with our winners of yesterday, TFT Gamer Hours as well. They are going to have a fantastic time in the Winners Championship bracket tomorrow. I'm so excited to see those games, man.
Oh my god, me too, and I'm not gonna be here casting with you, but I'm definitely gonna be watching in my seat. And I still cannot believe that Serenity still has a hero to throw in that hits tier 2, tier 3, and inhibitor. There's still enough health on it. Is it gonna hit the Nexus turrets? Oh my god, it is. It will. Oh, it deleted it.
Also gonna delete the Warriors team here. Ephesus trying to dive in. She has the Undying Range, which buys so much time, but just no damage to finish any of the members off. Rilla Jones executes one. That's a big shutdown. 400 gold picked up off of Shapeshift, but it's a double kill now for Yumichi. Finally gonna be shut down by Paragon. That is a 400 shutdown picked up by Paragon, but the important 700 shutdown still sitting on Dragoon's head, waiting right there.
The bait.
The bait straight into Dragoon's waiting arms. So well played by Lucia and the rest of Serenity.
Wonderful. Oh, that must have felt so sad for Paragon. They did super well. I think they finally had enough damage to get something done on the team fight, defend out a little bit of that base because everything is open on the bottom side. Ionia, this jungle is not yours. You cannot tread here. It's not safe. Don't do it.
So yeah, I think in the winner's bracket tomorrow, we should get that rematch of Ayuskins versus Serenity from the round 2 yesterday. It's going to be probably a semifinals game tomorrow in the winner's bracket where Ayuskins did win the best of 1 yesterday, but Serenity clearly having massive improvement, not only from yesterday to today, but hopefully from today to tomorrow as well. And I mean, Dragoon is on my screen killing everyone right now. I don't know how to talk about that anymore, so just enjoy the videos of Dragoon slaughtering all of the warriors.
Yeah, the Warriors are not fighting as strong as they could be, as we saw them in the semifinals, and Serenity is going for a GG.
Serenity going for the 21-minute 2-game demolishing stomp of the God's EPist Warriors. They will take this game to victory, and they will claim the first spot for the qualifiers game, or qualifiers day number 2 here for Super Go Gamer Pro.
That was impeccable by Serenity. They really came strong into this game, into the series itself, and executing everything they meant to do. The compositions were sound, they knew what they had to do with each composition, they took advantage of the enemy's mistakes, and Warriors were a little stubborn in continuing with the same composition when it wasn't faring that well. So I would say my advice to them moving into tomorrow would be to be a little more open-minded for those drafts, and Serenity, keep up the great work.
Absolutely. We do have some replays as well to see how Serenity exactly won that game as well. But, I mean, what a masterclass showing of Serenity today, as well as I wish we got to see them play the Ayuskins match yesterday, but we will definitely get to see that match I am predicting for tomorrow.
And this was such a highlight for every player, right? Everything was going good for Yumichi, even when it was just Yumichi and Heloisia in the bot lane. We had so much pressure from Shapeshift, and Dragoon was really unbeatable. Of course, they did die twice, but they finished out the game impeccable, especially with the global help from Yumichi. Ugh, so good. Incredible coordination.
Absolutely right, and Dragoon as well was just the shining star of top lane. I mean, not only this game, but the game before as well. He was playing super well, but this game in particular, right, like, nobody could even kill him at this point. Even like, what was it, 12, 13 minutes? I think Dragoon got the first turn of the top lane as well, if I remember correctly, right? So, what could you even do against this Jax? Just such a 1v9 carry performance by him and Yumichi in game 1 as well. I think it's pretty funny that the team that won yesterday, TFT, I have their stickers. And the team that won today, Serenity, I also have their stickers. So the only teams that got first place so far are teams that gave me their stickers. So Take note, everybody. You should give me more stickers.
Yeah, give Camcom all the stickers, everything. Glue them to the
If I'm
walls,
casting
to the
you and I
chair.
have your merch, I will show your merch. So
And
it's
I
up to
will
you.
make you get first place. That's what you said.
that is what I said too.
That's
Let's take a
wonderful.
look
If
at
you
the
want to share
bracket.
some of those stickers with me as well, I would lovely accept that.
come to some sort of tournament that I'm at. I don't know.
Oh, you're
That's
gonna
where I
pay
get all
me?
the stickers.
Are you gonna pay me to go to the US, Camcom? Is that my hiring invitation to work NA on
Yeah,
site?
for sure. We'll swap. I'll go down to CVLO. You come up to LA.
Okay.
It's fine. Yeah, for sure.
We do a switcheroo.
Let's take a look at the
scheme.
bracket one more time for who won the bracket here today. Again, Serenity taking it a clean 2-0 sweep of the Gods, EPS Warriors, Ashley Cats versus 5 Seasons. Our third place match was a 1-0 best of 1 up for 5 Seasons, so they will be our third place qualifying team on the day. What a day, honestly, for Super Girl Gamer Pro.
Agreed.
Such fun games.
It was incredibly well played by all of the teams. The high level was there. We saw great macro from everyone, a couple of micro mistakes, especially with decision making on draft. But things are looking absolutely exciting for tomorrow. I wasn't there for the games yesterday, but I'm sure gonna do a little VOD review because I want to know everything they did yesterday to know how they're going to fare about the teams that did win today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for casting with me today. So I will be
It's a
on
pleasure.
tomorrow once again with Tessa from Yesterday Thousand Eyes, if you know her by that name as well. Thank you so much to the production room. Thank you to the fans for making this all happen. And of course, thank you to our sponsors, the US Air Force, Logitech, and Nissan for making this series dedicated to women and non-binary people in gaming happen. Have a fantastic rest of your evening, and we'll be back here on the broadcast tomorrow, 1 hour earlier, for your semis best of threes.
The Supergirl Gamer Pro is brought to you by Nissan. At Nissan, we make cars that thrill. Experience the thrill for yourself today. Shop nissanusa.com. And by Logitech G, who is on a mission to change gaming for good through the power of positive play. And by the United States Air Force. Full-time, part-time, in or out of uniform. Join us.
This all-new Aria is an elegant EV.
Yeah, with 389 horsepower. and all-wheel drive.
It's beautiful.
It's a beast
It's electric.
with an edge.
Oh, let's go with that.
You know I suggest.